Welcome to Open Minds, Open Mic, the place to be on a Friday night. We have a very special delight for you. CC Arshagra, as well as a room full of beautiful poets I see here tonight. Yeah, I hope it's going to be an amazing Friday. Unfortunately, I'm not feeling too well, so my wife Catalyst and Dre are going to be co-hosting tonight. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Let's go ahead and get this show started with our first performer. We have Lantern Carrier. Lantern, if you could unmute yourself and bless us with some words, I'd greatly appreciate it, brother.
Thank you, my brother. I was asked by the gods to do a very healing and very loving poem for you. And so I searched and I responded. So this one is for you. A tree, when it is laden, offers its fruits and flowers to humanity. Yet it begins in seed form, its root growing inward before it begins to ascend upwards and outwards. So too, challenges are sown within before they become triggered without. All this is necessary for the evolution of a higher consciousness. The womb is the place where the light enters you, says Rumi, and the toil with today's dark ghouls and shadows is most certainly a precursor for tomorrow's illustrious dawn. Its strife is a building block that the supreme architect constructs with lava as the cement that holds it all together, so that eventually we will become beautiful palaces, Taj Mahals of grandeur. Do not grieve, O angels of light, neither should you be afraid. Joseph was thrown into a well of suffering, but rose again to glory in his Father's kingdom. It is the nature of life to give us challenges, yet it's in falling that we rise to a greater victory. Night is not truly black, but only a dim-lit lantern, just as the abyss is but a candle for the effulgence of the moon to come. Many fears are born out of loneliness and insecurity, a desire to love and be loved, to have, to take control. Yet we are free, and adversity is only a veil for the effulgent light of Jannah. Have you ever seen a weaver's unfinished work of clay? Lost in the laws of struggle, it looks like messy chocolates. Yet when it is complete, it's transformed into a most beautiful vase. Rain saturates the earth, which becomes mud. Yet this same soil is nurtured by the sanctity of sunlight, producing food, sunflowers, orchids, and other flowers of the most radiant beauty. The pain of the hammer and anvil is only a necessary flame to burn our impediments into an ascending love. The woodman's tool appears merciless when the oak is severed from its roots, yet it is only for a season, until new roots spring up with summer. The challenge of the cross appears as a benchmark for modern living. We rise and fall and rise and fall as Mother Gaia envelops us with challenges. Yet, like an excellent play in life, doesn't the actor throw off the worn-out robes, adorning himself in new raiments as the tale unfolds? The next time you sink in a valley of tears, the next time your eyes are covered with mists, see only the agony of despair, do not give up. Instead, reach out to the healing rays of the invisible, in whose compassionate heart lies a merciful handkerchief, longing to dry each sacred drop. Nothing comes from an empty void. Anxiety is the smaller me, striving to become my bigger self. Fear walks me through the darkness, so I can experience light. I sometimes fall, not seeing the invisible face of love, yet she's there, simply awaiting my outstretched hands with her affection flooded, compassionate smiles. Death, especially to those upon whom I'm focused, tends to remind me of my own mortality. I may even say that it's unfair, unjust. Yet how can I know justice unless I have experienced the bright light of divine righteousness? I know I must love, for it's in what appears to be my smaller moments that I experience joyfulness. Yet freedom sends adversity as my night of shadows, so I can kiss the dawn of promising tomorrows. Should I then be indolent? Should I embrace ignorance? Love asks that I respond to the call of duty, even while remaining free, not chained to the abysmal prison of expectations. Guruji Sri Chinmoy says that peace begins when human capacity ends, while Rumi tells us when the world pushes you to your knees, you're in the perfect position to pray. Remember, though, that prayer is the snow white outpouring of the heart to the love eternal in the sweet and unconditional spirit of true surrender. Do not grieve, my sweet, sweet angels, for your wounds are only the place where the light enters you. Your scars are like passing clouds before the unfolding rays of the light of the unspoken. Lantern Carrier, thank you.
Amazing piece, Lantern. Thank you. Everyone, unmute
Thank you,
yourselves and
Lantern.
give it
That's
up for
stellar.
Lantern Carrier.
That was sacred, stellar. And then I love that you went not just the embrace of love, but the trip seeds and the dangers within love itself, and yet found the higher one, and then all the references to Rumi. That's a killer right there. Beautiful. That means you're at the beginning of a new the stuff you're about to write is going to transcend what you're already doing. I feel it.
So much hope in that poem, which honestly I read.
Well,
Lantern Carrier is just beginning.
Amazing. Thank you so much,
Thomas.
Lantern. I really
Thomas,
appreciate it.
lots of hugs, my dear brother. Just hanging in there. You have an extremely beautiful, radiant wife, you know, and family and friends around you, your poetic friends. You're just hanging in there. You're on the right track.
Thank
you, Lantern Carrier, for that wonderful piece, and for kicking off the show. Since this wasn't brought up earlier, hello, this is Dre Reyes. I am going to be filling in as host for tonight's show. So kick back, enjoy, and let's have a nice, fun voyage through this awesome night of poetry and spoken word. Let's keep tracking. Let's keep trucking here. On deck, we have Mary Jennings, but stepping up to the plate now. When you're ready, Messiah, take it away.
Thank you, Dre Reyes. So I'm gonna read two poems, and the first is called The Path Implicit. Timelessness and the path implicit to endeavor human lives, void of insalubrious mind and portents to falsehood, renders a mutable exchange of mortal truth that negates and immortal truth, the revelatory summit, incentive to realize soul as consciousness nullifies its illusions and begs immortal nature, to consider the conscious attempts at I, and realize perception thrusts the controversy of self in backward glances. Memory, though an arresting necessity, is a prefect of imprisonment. The eternal rushes in when dormant phrases such as self, mind, beauty, truth, you and I, and even eternity are shed lightly along the struggle to recognize the soul's implication. Does the soul imply infinity, materialization, consciousness, God? What if you shed your soul and the transformative desire to be as a simple continuity? With the immensity of existence, assume a path secured to tread as quickly and simply as a bird knows to soar? Would all the wisdom of the wisest become pejorative as truth becomes its absence? Where there is beauty, there is no beauty. Where there is love, there is no love. Where there is truly existence, existence is absent. Not merely conceptually, but as atemporal revelation. What does it take to taste freedom in the perfection of absences? Perhaps before we had a soul, we were ephemeral truths, guided by gestating instincts, bred where both time and timelessness are lost. The soul limits. This poem limits. I will never know freedom until I meet truth with what's true for me, the inherently vague, the insight of the impossible. Isn't life something of an impossibility? We are like apparitions seeking to appease a desire for form. What if enlightenment, like a rose, arises, growing into its transient beauty, hollow though not superficial, and dying away to reveal its true passion, an incoherent and profound pattern, realizing a hollow function of life that's somehow immortal? We are seemingly worlds into ourselves. Beauty and truth cannot capture the rapture of this instinct to bear witness finally to birth. From personal perspective, a world so hollow as to be almost impossible, for at the final paradox, infinite through finite, that to have life is not quite to live, that to have life is to die. Yet it seems to be alive is to know nothing about what it means to live. So surely we jest, little miracles dancing on the edge of cataclysm. Life is within us, it is within me, though the concepts, life, us, and me, are fatal to an understanding that in spite of the life I have, perhaps I'll never obtain. And this second poem is untitled. The pulse of the newly opened flower, a subtle palpitation emergent in eternal predilection, whose breath animates the rhythm of seasons. Sorry, hold on. A newly born universe, whose overflowing laws reverberate with infinities, each one different from the last, spilling over with fresh energies, marring constancy. Your newly opened mind, life sensibility, its continuous rebirth as a fulcrum of temporal register, the totality of life, in cyclical vibration interpreted by conscious circumspection, begs for liberation, where all insight is the value of existence as beauty in time bereft. For the only transcendence, the loquacious revelation of beauty, is an interpenetrating existence now, which perhaps in rarefied time is truly forever. As consciousness becomes clear, as we look into life and realize a bottomless state, both in the depths of our consciousness and life as it exists in itself, the growth we must avow is the realization of the soul's endless reach, a transmigration to the singularity or fulfillment of its consciousness, the tremulous art of the soul finding its way back to itself. As all time is collected toward a single point and reveals a path to being's holistic metric, we stand at the beginning of lost sensibility, where the lack of truth furthers the dream of knowledge, and vision of the soul enters an epoch where transparency is finally the transcendent, where the mystery of being in its scale beyond measure isn't merely us, but becomes us, searching boundless space as evolving souls, reaching for the object that defies, perhaps even the soul's expository form, truth as the formless, the mysterium tremendum, a wholly objective life. Thank you.
Wow.
You know,
Thank
I
you.
don't say it enough, but Messiah, you're one of my favorite poets. I really don't
Oh.
say it enough. Really, you go there all the time. That's two in a row, poets opening this thing. That you guys both went transcendent. You both went into another dimension, and you both dealt with what Paul deals with all the time. You know, you got to get past the self and the death to see the here and the now. And now I don't have to do half my songs because that's what they're about. No,
Everybody unmute yourselves and give it up for Messiah for that wonderful
Thank you,
two-piece.
Messiah.
Yeah, Messiah.
Messiah really is like the word of
Woo! Yeah.
That
was awesome.
He is the Messiah.
Thank you.
Here's a fun
Thanks very much,
suggestion
guys.
for y'all. Let's have a double feature one day of Lantern and Messiah. Just to blow everybody's minds into pieces, because the way the show just kicked off, it just planted a big old seed in my head, and I want to have that germinate in your fertile minds right now. Damn. Again, give it up for Messiah for that awesome two-piece.
Oh, deep, brother.
Mr. Bear says
you.
thank you. Mr. Bear says
Oh.
thank you.
Let's see. Let me just piece my brain back together. Okay. On deck, we got Finn Hall, but stepping up to the plate now, please give it up for Mary Jennings. When you're ready, unmute yourself and take it away.
Thank you, Dre, and thank you all. This is my first time here, and so I'm going to be reading a piece of, that I've been reading at other places. It's from a collection of poetry that I call the Love Child Ballads. And this one is called The Ballad of the Humor Impaired Woman. She is a pear-shaped woman, ripe for the picking and dumping of mud upon by the two-bit comic, seeking amusement from his humdrum existence. Hey, Miss Snip, why are you so serious? Don't I get a laugh from you? He's read. Take a long walk off a short pier, right? But he still wants to ride her pride off into the sunset just because her hormones took a dip. Her womb bore no kids. She lives the values she's been taught. Work hard and reap many rewards. Treat others as you want to be treated. But no matter how hard she works and how much she gives, all she gets is a punchline to the story of her life. She's wasted her graces on one who gets his wit from the sewer, which he casts her integrity in, initially pretending to be in awe of her, thus taking her for a fool. For her, it's about the struggle. If she wanted to find humor in it, she would know where to look, not from the two-bit comic, who uses humor to try to shame her for her life choices. She made that choice because the only child she raised was herself, aware early on of denigration, calling itself love. She's better off alone than to be mismatched with one who wants to grind her to a pulp, like the two-bit comic who couldn't get his wife to laugh at his jokes. Therefore, he tries them out on somebody new with similar results. Unlike the wife, she doesn't live with him and won't keep his house for him. She's no fool there. No man needed to make her honest. She made herself honest, which is what he can't handle, thus the derision he calls humor. The pear-shaped woman bears fruit in other ways and insists you don't let it go to rot. It can nourish you or it can poison you, depending on your constitution. The pear-shaped woman's sense of humor is alive and well, both juicy and dry, tart and sweet, whatever the situation requires. She just doesn't find you amusing. Thank you.
Everybody unmute yourselves. Please
Wow.
give a warm open minds welcome to
Welcome.
Welcome,
Mary.
Mary.
Wow.
Guys,
Thank
welcome.
you.
Incredible.
Thank you.
Oh
Mr.
my
Bear says,
Thank
goodness.
you.
I
Wow.
just
Thank
Thank
love
you,
Bear
that.
says,
Mr. Beer.
You are
yeah, thank
always
you.
welcome here.
Thank you.
Mary,
Please.
Mary's one of the most loyal friends a human being could ask for. I've known her. She has liked and followed and friended and visited almost most of the things I've done for over a decade. She's and her growth. And it's amazing. I'm really glad you took that piece and showed them, that you go deep. You go deep into your own dark, and yet you come out of it with that thread of, but you still, you keep it on that. You're a good tightrope walker.
Thanks.
Thank you. And thank you for coming here. And let all this love
You're
in.
welcome.
Please share
I
where we
will.
can follow you, Mary. We would love to stay in touch
Thank
with
you.
We would
Please
love
list
Yeah,
any
what's
links
your
that you have to share.
put
We would love
put your
to have you on board and just further promote you. Yeah, please don't be a stranger. That was
I
a
won't.
nice,
Yeah.
pretty piece of enlightenment there.
Thank you.
Love that.
All right. Trucking forward with this open mic. On deck, we got Alex, but stepping up to the plate now, we got Finn Hall. Please give it up for Finn whenever you're ready. Take it away.
All right. Hello. As some of you may know, I've my publishing arm, as it were, like a Blockman Blue, just published a book called Unite the States of America. A couple of people's in it, but I've got a poet from each state in America and from DC, of course, to write a poem. For ages, I couldn't get a poet from Utah. It really was hard. People fell out and they didn't come back and whatever. So I wrote a poem called There Are No Poets in Utah. And then I found a poet from Utah. So folks said should publish this one. Well, it's actually going to my own book. It'll be out later on this year. This one's called There Are No Poets in Utah. 3 months, I looked, messaged, pleaded, bled my hopes dry, different places, different faces helping me look, suggesting names, no response, nothing came. I even asked an old school friend of my wife, who is not a poet, but lives there. She said yes. She said yes. Come the deadline, nothing came again. I tried, but the deadline passed. Why are there no poets in Utah? I'm sure that even Mormons write, right? I'm not saying that all Salt Lake State are Mormons or skiers or farmers or beekeepers. Even if they were, don't they rhyme? Sometimes. I just about given up believing there are no poets in Utah. Then a message came from Copenhagen, not the one in New York State or Louisiana, but Denmark, Scandinavia, from an American from New York, giving me a poem from someone from Utah, a poet from Utah, someone deceased, but a poet, with permission from his wife. In Mexico, a poet who wrote about writing. The fact I found a poet from Utah. Now my inbox is full of poets from Utah. Thank you, but too late. Where have you been hiding for 4 months? Did you need just one to pop their head above the parapet? A dead one, too. That was There Are No Poets in Utah. And this one, I actually finished writing it 5 minutes ago. I've been struggling with the middle bit for ages. So it's called, it's kind of like an acrostic poem. And it's called A Poem is a Pebble in Your Shoe. It's after Edward Hopper painting. Captain Upton's house seemed empty and lonesome, but look closer and you'll see there are people there. Fluttering curtains, open windows, and maybe in the outhouse too. Hiding. Not hiding, just waiting for you to find them, though. Like words you need to make the line, the stanza, the whole. A poem is like a pebble in your shoe. It irritates, frustrates. You contemplate how to get it out, waiting until the time is right. The situation becomes important. to stop. Untie your shoelaces and set it free. The words are hidden in the ground, buried, waiting for the golden shuffle to dig them out. For a sentence, a verse. 2 lines are all that's needed to start or end. Thank you.
Yay, thank you, Mr. Bear.
Everybody give it up for Finn Hall.
Thank
Unmute
you,
yourselves. Show
Finn
some
Hall.
love.
Yeah.
Finn.
And my inbox
Thank
is
you,
now
Finn.
flooded.
Oh,
Yay, Angela's
outstanding.
here. Yay.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Mhm.
Thank you, Finn.
Thank you for taking time to come by and presenting your lovely work with us. Please don't be a stranger. Come back. All right. On deck, we got Richard and coming up next. Please unmute yourself. Give it up for Alex Phuong. Give it up when you're ready.
Okay, so yes, there is going to be a Wicked movie later this year. So without giving away major spoilers, basically it's about the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz, and I put the lyrics in the chat just to make it easier on me. And just go enjoy the musical on your own because I saw it in 2007. I saw it at the Pantages, one of the greatest nights ever. Thank you. So in the beginning there's Munchkin celebrating the death of the Wicked Witch of the West. So it goes like this. Good news, she's dead. The Witch of the West is dead. The wickedest witch there ever was. The enemy to all of us here in Oz is dead. Good news, good news. No one mourns the wicked. Now at last she's dead and gone. Now at last there's joy throughout the land. And goodness knows, we know what goodness is. Goodness knows the wicked die alone. She died alone. Woe to those whose born what goodness is. They are shown. No one mourns the wicked. Good news. No one mourns the wicked. Good news. No one mourns the wicked. 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 Go enjoy the movie in the fall. Thank you.
Everybody unmute yourselves. Please give it for Alex for that wonderful rendition.
Yeah,
Alex.
Alex.
Is that a
That was
Munchkin
awesome.
song? Do the Munchkins sing it? Or are they all bears?
No, it's a Munchkin. That's the beginning of the musical. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. To wrap up this first portion of the open mic before we step into our feature, please give it up for Richard Spisak. When you're ready, please unmute and take it away.
Thank you both. Thank you all very much. It's wonderful to be back. It's been an adventure I've had, but I want to share 2 pieces of fresh this morning. First one is called "There is no university in Gaza." Look, a high school, now a high-tech hole. Look, a college, now a giant crater quite empty of knowledge. Look over there, a training center. In just a minute, poof, a pile of splinters. I see it now, a historic university. Now a pile of fractured concrete and glass, distorted in high-speed diversity. No, over there was a preschool, now crushed to humble rubble, specifically following the divinely mandated explosive rule. And now the second one. This is called "Nothing Remarkable." Nothing remarkable happened today. As usual, all the fascists came out to play. As usual, they brought all their war toys to take away as much as they could of everyone's joys. They made sure there was only enough food for some. They made sure all the broken ones were forced to run. They woke up the sleeping and threatened the poor. They made sure they were homeless and locked their door. They made sure only very few sick got hold of the medicine, cranking up all of the pain without any reticence. They broke down the schools, they closed the hospitals, and in case any victim could afford what it costed them, the orphans were driven out in the food, in case their frail bodies might improve the crop's yield. And now the children work in the factories. At least that's the way Becky's mom, Mrs. Thackeray, won't have to worry about cave-ins with that ne'er-do-well Tom at Lastery. But someone stood and spoke, and the fascists jeered and joked. They called him woke. Thank you, my friends.
Thank you, Richard, and welcome home. I know you're going through a journey. I'm glad to hear you're on the healing side.
Thank you all. An honor to be with you.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you,
for
Richard.
that,
Everybody
brother.
unmute yourselves. Please show some love for Richard.
Yeah.
Truth, man.
Woohoo! All right.
Okay. So now we get to our beloved feature time. And to be honest, I did not know I was going to be hosting until maybe 15 minutes before the show was going on. So I didn't really have much of a blurb to say, but I'm going to speak from the heart. CC Arshagra. Let me tell you, the first time I ever stepped onto the New York Poets Cafe open mic, and here on Open Minds, it was one incredible treat to see someone being as bold on the ivory keys as CC is, and as poignant and striking is with the keys, so are his lyrics. And this is a man that has crafted his arts for decades on end. He has a lifetime of open mics, you could say. Man who's been to thousands open mics, and you could see it. You could feel it in his passion that's being delivered in his pieces and in his spoken words. So with that said, it is my honor and my distinction to present to you all our feature for tonight, CC Arshagra. CC, when you're ready, please.
Yeah, CC.
Take the stage and take it away.
Okay, thank you. Let me do the original sound and get that out of that. Thank you, Dre, for stepping in. That was a beautiful intro from the heart. You can't ask for more than that. This is a big, on Facebook they call it a life event. In my life, I call it my next breath. But it means a lot. Lyric writing has been with me since when I first stepped into I think I'm going to write. And I was in a downfall in my life that was as dark as you can get. And I came out of it writing nursery rhymes and children's songs. And I'm going to open with that. But before I do, I have to do this. You know, there are people a lot. I could spend an hour thanking people. But I really do want to thank that this Kathleen Holzer, this is her house, this is her piano, and Shakespeare's her dog, and I am every day of my life that I still have this reality around me. I'm blessed. And Lucy is visiting here, Lucy Gallagher, and this piano ended up in this house because it used to be hers. She's a New York pianist who plays full time for her life and with a lot of other things to do with music. But when she left this area of Northwest Connecticut, went back to New York, this piano ended up here. And that enabled this part of my life to come into being. Because even though I had an electric piano, until I've experienced the air molecules and a soundboard coming off a harp inside a piece of wood with ivory, I didn't feel it. So I'm really grateful for that. And my life also outside poetry, I can't not mention Anne Marie, my friend down from the Buttonwood Tree, who played a major role in, and because she used to be the executive director of the Buttonwood Tree when my years down at the radio in Middletown. And my lyric writing actually from the children's point on began with Eli Williams at the very beginning of cable television and the very beginning of Access in Hartford, Connecticut. I ended up directing a popping and breaking TV show that ended up doing rap when rap was brand new. And Eli and I actually on cassette, and anybody who knows what a Tascam 424 is, then that's where the song Who Cared is there. And so early recordings are back there of the early children's song. And the very first time I ever got recognized as a person of music, I was also in that stage of my life. And Joe Young, who is now the commissioner of Hartford Film and Television and the producer of Hartford Got Talent, and he's filling the Bushnell with it. And he's also the man who almost got one of my projects into Adult Swim, Dear Dead People with Uncle Cece, when he was, and he's an animator of an African-American cartoon, one of the first syndicated African-American cartoons in Scruples, when he was just working with the Inner City Kid. He took my song, Good Enough, which I'll also sing a cappella when I start. And I'll do those two to kind of put me in back in that time and say thank you to that period of my life. And that's also the time when Neda Bolonsky changed my life as not just a poet, not just an artist, not just a frightened person trying to find a soul in creativity, but she's the one who woke the fact that activism and arts are one. And she took over a dying access TV station with a $40,000 budget. When cable was coming into town, the company that bought cable, that bought the city's newspaper and state newspaper and the television station, created a communication monopoly. And with the last of the money in the middle of a year, when this cable access was running at $40,000 for salaries, budget, equipment, and rent, and so it was running out of money. So they did with Neda Bolonsky, they did a 2-week thing, and Channel 3 down in New Haven, a CBS affiliate, covered it, forced Times Mirror into the fucking White House, and got bitch slapped and had to sell one of the three for breaking the law of a communication monopoly inside the city of Hartford, which is the Atlantic of Connecticut. So Benita Weissman, she played a role in my life that I spent 10 years in the movement and the healing arts. So when I was in my mute period, which is the name I give that period of my life, I went into a nonverbal art form called contact improvisation, and I wouldn't have made it through if she wasn't the only person in that art form who brought it, and the entire dance community never even heard of it. And I went to all of her classes and stayed in that art form for years. So when I got up to Boston, and I got into the Human Room Open Voice coming out of Jack Powers and the Stone Soup, I ended up, and please put up with this. This is important. This is I'm landmarking my life here because I'm that grateful. So what happened is that Mark Pelletier was, I think, the executive director of a little organization in Jamaica Plain called Spontaneous Celebration. It was an art house. So them and a bunch of other people put together this thing called biodevastation. Now, all the shit that's happening with AI, with you getting chipped, with money, with everything, in that year, way back then, that's Lucy, by the way, it's her piano. She's visiting. So say hi, Lucy. Hi. So he ended up doing this thing, and that's where I met Vandana Shiva, Seize the Day from London. I'm sure Finn knows and heard about Seize the Day. Brilliant, but that's the shit that's not on the radio every day. That's what's going on now. They wrote songs about transgenic babies in the early 2000. So that's a huge thing. And I met Ralph Nader, and of course Jill Stein was an open micer back then. He's still my friend. I've been blessed because I have my fathering of life, which I'm going to do the parenting of life, comes from me being grateful for these children that ended up in my life, in my relationships with Dylan and Jennifer. I got to be a dad for 5 years in a way, in a relationship. Women go through a lot, and sometimes they're raising kids alone. And, that's an amazing thing. And then your life falls, and there's people that show up in your life, like my friend Ahmed, my friend Kathleen, and from Texas. There's so many. I have to do this. Also the genetic. And Maura Gadini. Maura Gadini, if you're out there, the world owes you. This is a person in my life who got hurt because of circumstances, and I've never got to heal it. So I just want to send some huge love to Maura Gadini, one of the most beautiful human beings I have ever known, that disappeared from my life because of a set of circumstances. And of course, I raised Lydia for 2 years. She was a daughter of mine legally for a while, until that story is surreal. And then when I went into the music again, back in the funk physics, if it wasn't for Derek Bossy and Matt Beliveau, who came into my life, I wouldn't have done funk physics, which is an experimental poetry art band, which has a page, a channel on YouTube. I don't know what to say. In music, when I first got on Stone Soup, the very first musician I think I worked with was John Voight. He was an upright bass player, brilliant guy out of Berkeley. He's got this amazing CD he did way back where he plays 5 basses and puts them together, and it's an amazing hand-painted cover CD he did. I used to use it on my radio show a lot. And then I crossed paths with Jeff Robinson and now the 25 years of a three-piece jazz band backing every single poet. Jeff Robinson did that. Every week, every poet got backed by a three-piece jazz band, and that goes back. But among them, his upright bass player, Blake Newman, who also did a feature with me and was part of Funk Physics along with Ken Field. Ken Field is one of the most, he's on the planetary level. He goes to Australia. He's known down in New Orleans. He's got a huge show coming up. He does an annual show at the Regatta Bar, which is like one of the biggest jazz bars in thing. And Blake has another thing at another hotel where he's doing a thing. Blake has taken over Jeff Robinson Trio's poetry band. So that's going on too now, the 26th year, and that's not including the COVID years. And then Ken Field did the Board of Education, and out of all the poets in the entire greater Boston area, out of nowhere, I got tapped. I was welcome to go to his Thursday night jam called Board of Education, and I would sit there for an hour and I would write. And it was I did this because it was one of the scariest things I've ever done. I was afraid to write something and then read it. So I wrote it. He took a 10-minute break, came back with an 8-piece band and let me spit that writing up front. And I did that for weeks. Whenever I got done with the horse driving, I would drag my camera around and show up and set it up. Those tapes exist. My archives are sick with shit that I've never seen. And then Michael Corleone came after that. That was the Zen Bastards, where I got the second chance to work with a jazz band behind me. So beside Jeff and Blake and Ken, and so Michael Corleone is in the mix of that whole thing. And then there's art galleries, the poets, the folk singers, the number of artists, the number of activists that I knew in Boston, thousands of them. And then I just left and went to Washington State to be with Mariam and Lydia, where the paintings happened. And then now those paintings exist. They're so important. I almost got them into to Real Artways. And Real Artways, if it wasn't for Real Artways, I wouldn't have spent 4 hours of my life with Sun Ra. And that's where Arshagra came from 4 hours spending my life with a guy from fucking Saturn, even if there is no Saturn. That's one trippy dude. I am blessed. Brother Blue, Billy Barnum. I knew Buddha Paroli. I'm in a documentary about who owns Jack Kerouac, that this shit happened. And if it wasn't, and Ron Whitehead is I want to call him my friend. But I don't want to overplay it because he's so beautiful. And I can't wait to work. And one of my favorite bands is the Slambovian Circus of Dreams. So Josiah and Ting and Sharky, I hope to work with them with the music thing. All of this, and my mom and dad and Catalyst and Thomas for making this happen. I love you all. And then there's you and you and you and you and every poet and artist that I've ever met, staying on the ground, living on the ground, creating art on the ground, not caring if we make it or don't make it because it's not going to happen no more. I love you all. Good enough. It's good enough to be human. It's good enough to be born. It's good enough to love your community. It's good enough to share your time here. It's good enough to be true to yourself. It's good enough to do your best. And it's good enough to know in your heart for the world you take care. It's good enough to be human. It's good enough to be born. It's good enough to love your community. It's good enough to share your time here. It's good enough to be true to yourself. It's good enough to do your best. And it's good enough to know in your heart for the world you take care. And then with these, so Joe Young put that on an overhead projector. Remember that technology? In a Xerox machine. And he drew the picture of the Scruples character on there. And that was the first time I was recognized by the world at large that I was even making art when I was going through a downfall in my life. So that was amazing. Eli recorded this one with me. It's called Who Cared? Blue threw a rock, red got hit, yellow made a flag, green died for it. Orange planted green, and it grew into a prayer, and all the colors cried purple song. Who cared? 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 That blue threw a rock and red got hit. Yellow made a flag, green died for it. Orange planted green and it grew into a prayer. And all the colors cried purple's song. Who cared? That's for all you who's out there. So, thanks to Mom and Dad and my late brother Michael, who left his fiance. He died at the early COVID time. I am not going to get through this without crying. So I brought these. And forgive me early on. So this is hi to Tanya too, my brother's fiance, who after my brother died took the spirit of that my brother loved her and found the courage to go all the way to a master's degree in social science with a special certificate in trauma. So I think I will not die today. Oh, I just may melt away into a dream that's here to say, love, stay, and I'll stay with you. I think I will not die today. Oh, I just may cry today, and yes, my tears may fall to see love freed from all the harmful thoughts I made. I think I will not die today. Then doubt itself throws choice my way, yet it's as simple as you being here, and no one can ever own love. Oh no, I think I will not die today. As I go through no love with just my face on a stage, as bare as there's no one here, where there's no reason left to leave my life. Oh, I think I will not die today. I had no idea joy could feel this way. No idea alone. No idea alone could fill the air. While every exhale gives voice to there is no one missing. I think I will not die today. Then fear, exposed, just runs away. And then nothing lonely fills my heart. And then all I hear is laughter. Laughter. Lift life up. Oh yeah, I think I will not die today. Although I just may melt away into a dream that's here to say, love, stay, and I'll stay with you. question. Who do you share your all alone with? If the answer is no one, everyone, and everything, you will never be lonely. 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 Again. True sharing has no expectations. There's no sense of a debt owed or a debt involved. Nothing's overdue, nothing's hurt or angry. You don't want to know why? That's impossible. Because all disappointments in the end are held by you. The secret is the quiet of happiness. The quiet of each and every mind alone. And there's no need to believe that it's blame's fault, it's blame's fault, it's blame's fault. And there's no such thing as happiness cannot find you. It's okay. It's okay to see the ways you can deny this. As the only thing you will never question. It's okay. It's okay that each and every moment actually just lives here. Sure, death comes, but love itself lives on forever. So it's time to ask the question. Who do you share you are all alone with? The answer is no one, everyone, and everything. You will never be lonely again. Now love's hand always waits here to catch you. Fear free falls, hate has no net. And you become creation. Dying is not real here. This is transcendence. You are as honest as your own truths dying. And then, here comes your next breath. When it's time to ask the question, who do you share you're all alone with? If the answer is no one, everyone, and everything, you will never be lonely. 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 Again. I believe in the parenting of life. And no one owns a woman. No one owns a child's love. And I believe this is the highest art form. And the abuse of innocence is the highest crime. And I believe the only way to rise is to always fall true and never be above you. And I believe forgiveness is a mirror. You need no fist, word, or hammer to break reasons into blame, 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 blame. And I believe belief must not fear dying. And you should never fear to ask a naked, honest question. I believe that being wrong is a blessing. And when you still don't know the answer, the law of love is one. And I believe in the parenting of life. And no one owns a woman. No one owns a child's love. No one owns a child's love. No one owns a child's love. You know, there's a bridge between physics and the arts of humanity. And I think poets are in the middle. I think we're the bridge of that. So quantum physics, everything that's going on. Quantum physics has been around for 100 years. They're still pushing it back because Newtonian physics is keeping war alive and corruption and all the shit social life forms that we fucked up making. So inside quantum physics, there's an understanding of the observer is observed. When they finally figured out particle and wave being observed, and that's part of the catalyst that helped write this song. Calm down. Actually, that's the other song. Hold on. Here and now is when and where I observe my own mind being observed. Or is that possible? Here and now is when and where and where and when and when and where and where and when I observe my own mind observed. Right? Here and now is when and where I observe my own mind, and I calm down. I calm down. I calm down. I calm down. I care for the sight of love is blind. My heart takes a rest and I sigh. And Shakespeare is the name of my dog. And I'm grateful I feel home here and now. Even when I'm not seen, and even when I am not heard, even when I am alone inside the wind. As I share my alone just with my peace of mind. And I catch my wild thoughts with a choice to calm them down. As the wars all around me are surviving just to die, still I feel grateful that I feel home here and now. Here and now is when and where I observe my own mind. Here and now is when and where and where and when and when and where, and here and now I observe my own mind. And I calm down. I calm down. I calm down. and everything true hits a wall. And everything large discovers it's small. And everything out there is really only within. And then here comes fear's reasons to never trust love again. That's here and now. And when and where I observe my own mind. That's here and now. Where and when I observe my own mind. And I calm down. I calm down. I calm down. I calm down. So a while back, I heard that he was surprised, and I'm not dropping an A-list name, but Bob Dylan got the Pulitzer Prize for literature. And so I never knew he had to do a talk, and I heard it on the radio December. I think it was Christmas Day is the day I wrote the first word, 23. And inside the talk, he's mentioning philosophy and early literature and the history of literature and books that he's read. And somewhere in that talk, he said the words, "You are running out of men." And as an artist, poet, lyric writer, I said, "Oh, fuck, now I have to write that song." And basically that was it. Oh, now I have to write whatever the hell "you are running out of men" means. And this is what came out of it. When privilege is a coward, floating on a wealthy sea, made of nothing more than numbers, and the blood of fears believed. If fear has only one friend, then fear owns you, eats you, and then kindly kills its mother. Oh, fear is a story, and it's afraid of dying, so it lives just to make sure no one ever becomes love. And if there's no one fighting, fear will start one. Fear's never satisfied unless there's more war coming. So every war is fought just to morph into the so every war is fought just to morph into the next one. And every father in a fight must hand hatred to their young. You are running out of men. You are running out of men. You don't love life, women, girls, or mothers, and the earth. You forsake her just to fucking rape her. You are running out of men. You are running out of men. When privilege is a coward, floating on a wealthy sea, made of nothing more than numbers, and the blood of fears believed. You are running out of men. You are running out of man. Oh man, oh man. Last night at the New Eurekan, forgive me if anyone's there, the last poet did a thing about black music, how important it was. And I've always carried that if humanity makes it, one of the lessons we can't forget is the slave song. We're talking murder, war, prisoners, buying and selling human beings. The whole gauntlet from the very first movement into the slave trade, into who conducted it. It doesn't matter who won, when, and where, in as far as the song goes. But you can't stop that. Beaten, murdered, raped, killed, owned, sold, tracked down, hunted, hung, and still, you can't stop the song, that hum. You can't take that away. And that's part of Forever Hum, about life and death. Life is only death, but not forever. Rivers, only waters, but not dry bones. You see, love is only everything is a miracle. And that's not poetry, that's a fact. And you and I, we're the song. forever hum. Noon is only midnight as the world dreams. Time is only clocks, not broken yet. And a knife is just a tool, and a useful kind one. That no one ever needs to harm true love with. And a man is just a womb without a gravestone. And a child is only tears that wait to laugh. And aging is just a series of soul lessons. As if all the moments simply equal one lifespan. While hunger is the price of dreams become form. And thirst reminds the oceans they're not sky. And eyes and ears are always learning to feel. Further than you can see. Why? You are here. While the ground of love is only all the sky knows. Where sight becomes how beauty can let the blind see. Where visions lift the heart up and rest in peace there. Where you can catch your last breath. Your last breath. And walk your soul home. Life is only death, but not forever. Rivers only waters, not dry bones. You see, love is owning everything is a miracle. And you and I, the song, forever hum. Mirrors watering my mind. Wash me through the end of time. Be the air my mind rests in and bring me to where peace begins. Rain on flames that burn my trees, my branching thoughts of dreamings breeze with waves of natural calm ideas that bloom and die through all lies real. Then fear comes pushing love away, and the want of hatred reach for prey, and that is a vengeance. That's a vengeance that leads to how pain will feel, yet there's no resolve in the predator's feed. Mirrors watering my mind. Wash me through the end of time. Be the air my mind rests in and bring me to where peace begins. And the time it takes to lose both hands, and graves wait years to understand, as moments run away from tears, while before chases after the same old fears. Now love, oh, love's a word that survival hates, but love lives way beyond all death can't fix. There's no need of fixing nothing, empty or all alone, and to forsake life is a gift we waste, we all go home. Mirrors watering my mind. Wash me through the end of time. Be the air my mind rests in and bring me to where peace begins. This next one is, I've been playing with it, so it's mixed right now, because sometimes I want to read this where sometimes you feel like an angel, and sometimes I want to sing it where sometimes I feel like an angel. And that has to do with how thankless being a poet is and no expectations, and yet you have to honor that you're a conduit of something, that you're gonna be born, live, and die, and leave something of, you know, on this world better than you found it, kind of a thing. So whatever angel means to you, this is an attempt at that. Okay, I'm gonna give this one a shot. Sometimes you feel like an angel or a spirit with the trials of form. How you burn or you freeze are just your fears. This is the one I was gonna fuck up. How your fears in the breeze, or your tears that are melting to learn. What an angel is might be the ashes of soul essence that will never die, like the cost of each moment or a lifetime gone by, or the silence that sounds conscious life. Yet to you I may be nothing present. Just the thought, just the fucking thought from the script in your head. Yet no matter what my will all alone says or does, to you I could be just some whisper across your path. Still, this does not change how I live here. All alone, with the choice to be now as I live, for returning a shared presence of being. And what's not here are just dreams to be born. And birth is a light that seems heavy sometimes. In search of one's next breath of air. Without a war or a fight that cannot find love being, without balancing. Why? We're all here. So sometimes I feel like an angel or a spirit with the trials of form. How I burn or I freeze are just my fears in the breeze, or my tears that are melting. To learn. This was written on guitar 24 years ago. Who will join me in my life? While we join with all life. And together we'll dream on. I don't know if I should do this one. Okay. Who will join me in my life while we join with all life, and together we'll dream on for every next one. You see, the sun's coming up, but it's really not morning, and I'm looking forward to your light in my life. You see, I am in transition, and my life, it is a changing, and the way it will be will not be what it was. So as I go through this and things become heavy and stormy and gray and not looking up, oh, I'll see that the ground and the long road before me just might be a way to move past feeling stuck. Now I'm getting tested by working and by money. Oh, how will I feed love? How will my love be fed? But at the same time that I'm living this story of my life, I just might realize that I create the course of my life, and the weight of my burden, and realize that my state of mind is my own choice. So I'll try not to invest in what is depressing, lonely, or sad, or what feels like the end. Because really the truth is that there is a new day dawning. So why not the next page of my happy life? So why not just let the fact that I've traveled so far through my dreams to my present chance? Now, as a result of all of my trials, plenty of poetry still living in me, and plenty of songs that I haven't sung yet. And many a loving times that I haven't even lived yet. And many new hearts, perhaps even the one. Oh, the sun's coming up, and so soon will the light be shining on nature as it unfurls what's ahead. Who will join me in my life while we join with all life? We're together. We will dream on for every next one. Every next one. The sun's coming up, but it's really not morning. And I'm looking forward to your light in my life. So I want to dedicate this to C.P. Mays. This is Yester Now. This is the last one. Yesternow is a word I made up because I think we need a new word. It started as a poetry book project. It morphed into another project within it called Skull. And it kept growing and growing, and then I turned it into a song. I remember the first day that came to be called Yesternow. Back when I spent all of my time on There's Gotta Be a Better Time to Come. Beyond living in the sadness of life is a burden, and that is all there is. Looking back, it was to see time ending and to never cause the harm life handed me. While ever searching for a dream come true place they call setting your soul free into the yesternow. I hope this is it, isn't it? Okay. Yep, there it is. Into the yesternow. No. No, into the, here it is. Into the yesterday, here it is. Yesternow, that's it. I love you, yes, yesternow. The moment is the only time of living. And I would have never found my way here without this moment with you. I love you. I love you yesterday. I remember the many yesterdays since the first yesterday came to be. When the burden of living was searching and searching for the calmness of being, just to set us into peace. Yet I was living in the slip of time, and at the same time the present slipped away. Looking back on all those futures passing through me, just like a time loop that was stuck inside my head, while living cluelessly in a world of lies, where only hate and fear's realities exist. Then I found yesternow. I love you yesternow. The moment is the only time of living, and I would have never found my way here without this moment with you. I love you. Yesterday. I can tell you all about the years that followed, when the devil and the angel wore one face. When I was lost, spending the future's cost inside a single coin that only flipped me off. Well, I was living as if you can possess time, and yet the saddest fact is time possesses you. I reached to feel, just to feel like I was living, and maybe get a taste of not losing too. I once lived fighting just to reach for tomorrow, to discover it was myself fighting back. Till I came upon the future's ruins, where every future made of safe fears came to rest. There the future's gravestone sat and looked right through me. And at the exact same time that I was looking back, it read, "The moment you let go of time, you will come here to rest your warring head." Into the yesternow. I love you yesternow. No, The moment is the only time of living. I would have never found my way here without this moment with you. I love you. Da-da-da-da-da. I don't know how long that was, but I'm grateful.
I could have listened to you for 4 more hours. I thought we were going to be here listening until Wednesday, and I was delighted with that proposition.
Everybody, please take this time, unmute yourselves, and show CC Arshagra all the love right now.
ACC.
Thank you.
What a journey,
You
brother.
made my birthday weekend. Thank you so much. I love it.
I've had
Bravo.
I'd be honest, man. I've had a seesaw week, but legit hearing you really just kind of flipped that switch in me. And I just want to thank you, CC, for all you do in our community and with the work that you put out there, because I'm feeling it, and I know I'm not the only one that's feeling it. So please, again, share your love, your support for this wonderful human being.
Yes,
Wonderful.
that
wonderful.
was dope.
It was really great, CC. Very cool.
Thank you.
That was so immensely generous, CC, with your spirit. Yeah, just speechless.
Yeah,
Yo,
Paul
you need a
says
spot where you
that.
can do that like once a month, bro.
Oh, there he
Like
is.
once a
There's the
month,
man.
you should find your way to do that like once a month, man, bro.
It's all your fault. And then I'm waiting for that return phone call on that note. You know that.
I think you should
Yeah,
take it on the road.
Paul
We
says-
need you. We need you out here in the Bay Area too. Take it on the road.
Oh, find
Man,
me a
I
basement.
would find you venues if I could. Like, so good. Thank you.
Okay, I need a manager. You're hired.
You have such a unique style, CC. I mean, I love the way you present your poetry. It is
Well,
just cool.
I made a decision tonight to mix up talk singing, and singing, and just ran with it. The last one was the least practice, so but I'm getting a little better, I'll admit, on the piano. I'm getting a little better.
You got that little run that.
It was good to hear all the acknowledgments at the top too, and know, all these people who in part built you. That
Yeah.
was a nice thing to hear.
Well, I got to add, you're in there big time. You make a difference in my life, Paul. You do. I really appreciate your work. You go there and you don't apologize, and your craft is out there, but it does things that some of my work tries to do. So I appreciate that.
Back at
Everyone, and I literally could have gone on for 90 minutes just mentioning names. So if you weren't mentioned, you were in the you part there. So you're in there.
Oh my God, Cece, that was amazing. It was so cool that it like crashed our end of the computer. So we logged into the tablet to come back and say hi, and amazing. That was so awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this feature, CC. We appreciate you. We love you. Yeah, just amazing stuff. I absolutely love your music. I tell people all the time you're one of my favorite musicians.
Well,
so
The first song you did is like a #1 favorite between so many people that we know. It's awesome.
Thanks again, man, so much.
We'll see if that makes me enough money to buy everybody's poetry book someday.
Definitely.
Anyway,
again so much.
the Human Room Open Voice is really the one thing I want to do before I die. And I haven't figured, I'm 3 years into making the only social media platform owned by the human beings on the planet Earth who agree to speak freely in the context of benevolence. It has a constitution. And there's the tricky part is that I'm going to add a monetary art system that doesn't exist in reality. And I don't know who wants to swallow that, but it's name, address, and read these 9 things, which is kind of like a constitution, and press send. If you do nothing else, and the idea goes viral someday, 10,000 to 100,000 people, then the idea of the open mic hybrid into a you'd have a page, every video you watch you'd get paid for in an art number. Every video you like, you'd be able to spend it on. And so money becomes this idea where you cannot give, A person cannot give person B a nickel or a number without giving it to everyone equally. And on behalf of all, it goes to that person. And the idea of money floats as art. What is money is always breathing. And it's based on benevolence. And it's my life work.
We need some young go-getters to put all this in line and get it going.
It's called the Human Room Open Voice. You can get.
Yeah,
I have
CC, you got to put the
THROV on my website. There's 2 videos, and
you got to put
I
your
put as much
website
time
in.
into it. I have 3 podcast ideas. I have all these other things. You guys should help me produce some of them.
CC, really, you got to put the address in the chat because everybody needs to go to the website. It's dope.
Yeah, just drop the link for sure, man.
Yeah, my email is Arshagra. I have to go to the other computer to do the chat because this thing's a pain in the ass for chat. But it's Arshagra@gmail, and ccarshagra.com has a button that says join the mailing list. And if I send out 1 a month, I probably send out 3 a year. But then everybody will get one. But you got to add
Thank you, Jane.
The Human Room Open Voice to your contacts, or it goes into junk mail or CC. And then the other thing is I got too many projects. But yeah, but
thank you again so much, CC. It was amazing.
So Debbie's my agent, so just call her.
Yeah.
As your agent, I will say it's totally painless to go sign up for the doohickey. It's totally painless. I myself have done it. Y'all should just do it. Nothing bad happens. You just have your name on CC's little thing. Yay.
And then if it goes public, I die. Then I become one of everybody. There's no king. There's no king, no queen. No, you can't build. If you try to empire it or corrupt it, it'll collapse. And there's no social system in the world that does this.
I'm so there.
Yeah, it's and you read the 9 things and you'll see. But the strongest one is no matter what you say, no matter your song, your poetry, or anything you blurt out, everyone does it with the understanding they're willing to be wrong. And then you can say anything you want. You can't draw a line in the sand with that nugget. You can't do us and them. You can't do inhumanity will collapse it back into a work of art.
Yeah, awesome stuff, man.
That's just one project. I have too many. I love you, and I'm glad I brought it here. This night belonged here.
Yeah,
and your mom.
That's such an amazing feature, man. We appreciate you so much. Everybody, one more time, just unmute yourselves and give it up for CC Arshagra.
Thank you for hosting.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you
Amazing
for a wonderful
show.
birthday. I love
Beautiful.
it. Thank you.
Beautiful work.
Yeah.
All right, so on deck we got Joeski, but coming up next we've got your guest host of the night, Dre Reyes. You've been doing an amazing job. We love you. Make sure you guys check out the Slam Jam tomorrow. Thank you so much for helping out tonight, Dre. We absolutely love you. If you can go ahead and unmute yourself and bless us with some words, we greatly appreciate it, brother.
Hello, fam. It's Dre Reyes coming at ya. I guess it's time for me to do some self-promo and for some poetry. But first, as you can see behind me, I got the Slam Jams plastered all behind me. It's for a reason. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be doing yet another episode of the Slam Jam, but it's probably not just any other episode. It's probably arguably the biggest episode yet, not just of the Slam Jam, but arguably of the open minds community, because we got slam legend Billy Tuggle coming at you all the way from Chicago, bringing in some of the dopest poetry your eyes and ears are going to resonate with. And this is your chance to get some feedback from the man with your work. So tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this Zoom room, come on and slam and join the Slam Jam fam. Anyway, let's get on to the poetry. First, let's start with the moody shit. Something I've been working on and off. It's called You Can't See Me. I wish I was more prepared for the word, I wish I was more prepared for the hurt your words would bring. I wish they weren't so painful, but now I'm still feeling this sting. This big risk didn't pay off. Could someone please tell me how to kill off 23-year-old feelings? I still feel embarrassed. I wish all I said was unsaid. If I could be dead honest with y'all, thinking of you now gets me depressed. I did this to you and myself. I'm the sage of self-sabotage. I'm leaving these feelings on the top shelf, out of sight, out of mind, blends in like camouflage. While dust piles on as time ticks by, I'll be calm like a bomb with implosive insides. This is unfortunately farewell. This was all my fault. I deserve to experience this hell. I fathered my own cardiac holocaust. Please don't house any blame, for your feelings are valid. I got no rights to complain, so here lies these dead feelings, ragged. I may have been another face to you, but I wish I could have made you see what I saw in us and you, but you can't see me. Poem. So there's that lovely thing. But in order to know some good, gotta know some bad. So here's some good / motivational stuff. This goes out to Wyndham Rotunda, known to the world as Bray Wyatt. Yesterday would have been his 37th birthday. This one's called Follow the Buzzards. Mankind has struggled to answer one simple question. Where do we go when we die? A man of science will have you believe that we just become one with the earth, nothing more. But a man of faith will view things with such a much different perspective. What about those like you and I? We are special. For us, there is no death. We live forever through our arts. This is sanctuary, this stage, this microphone, this fleeting finite moment in time. Here, you and I will manifest all the power we will ever need to thrive in this dark world, to make passage towards our own salvation. I stand in front of you all tonight as a conqueror, as a revolutionary, as a man of 1,000 truths, as a survivor who has slumbered in flames and laughed in the face of fear. I have found my way through the darkness and into the light with nothing but limitless might. I am the color red in this world of black and white. Society has placed labels on me, for it is only human nature to put labels on things you do not understand. Labels, insults, numbers, ways to objectify the unknown, the unfamiliar, and the unwanted. I have been labeled many things: unconventional, strange, misunderstood, outsider. Understand this, though, friend. Labels are nothing more than penniless words if you do not surrender any strength to them, and I, for one, will never surrender. Now I urge you all to drink in this moment, man. Drink it in like hot coffee and wake up. Wake up and look at this lie you're living in, man. Everything you think you know about your own lives is based upon lies. All you wake up every morning, you look at yourselves in the mirror and coat makeup all over your beautiful faces because you didn't realize that you are just wearing the mask that society demands you to wear. It is a bottomless pit of lies. These false prophets plaster your hopes and dreams up on billboards, but the days of the false prophets are over. I promise you today, I promise you tomorrow, I promise you up until my final breath that with the sword of my tongue I will slay this mighty dragon and I will stand over his body and whisper into his ear, it is time to end this lie. When you die, come find me. I'll never be too hard to find. Just look up into the sky and follow the buzzards. Poem.
Yeah, Dre. Everybody unmute yourselves and give it up for Dre Reyes.
Thank you, Dre.
That was really
That was amazing, Dre. Woo. God damn.
Spoken like a true grappler.
Hey, that last poem there, that was like basically a bunch of transcribed poems, promos from Bray Wyatt, from Wind and Watanda, and I just kind of like twist into a narrative, into a motivational narrative. The dude had a way weaving his words into wrestling. He was basically a slam poet, but a way of like playing with the idea of fear. A fascinating storyteller. Wicked cool dude. Anyway, before we go on with the rest of the show, first of all, thank y'all for the platform, because open minds, open mic, we can't take this for granted. When that's said, it is always good to keep in mind to try to tip your hosts, because without, because all this is made possible without, with all of y'all, so that in mind, thank you. We got our Cash App and PayPal information in this little blurb we have here at the bottom in the meeting chat. And with that said, I also listed the rest of the list for round one. So please take a look at that. If there's anyone there that's starred on, it's because I wasn't too sure if they're going to be performing. And if you are still going to be performing, don't say anything. But if you're not going to be performing, just let me know. Anyway, with that said, on deck, we got Paul Skiff, but stepping up now, please give it up for Joeski C. Take it away when you're ready.
Coming through okay? Brother, can you hear this?
Yeah, we can hear you, Joeski.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. I just needed a little feedback there. Okay. All right. Today is the second anniversary of the school massacre at Uvalde, Texas. And so I wrote this. Country of coffins, country of urns, country of ashes, see how we burn. Country of ignorance, when will we learn? Assault weapons murder our children. lives, 19 children, days from summer fun, life, blood, pulsing like rivers. There's 19 cops in the hall. Rivers cascade, rushing like rapids, twisted limbs upon the floor. Crimson splashes like water. There's 19 cops in the hall. Bullets make holes, then they explode, then they pulverize. Remnants of clothes, hard on a sneaker, all we recognize. Nobody tried to shoot through the window, no one dared to risk it all. Rivers of red, slow to a trickle, there's 19 cops in the hall. 19 cops in the hall. Senators say, good guys with guns come to save us all. Life, blood, pulsing like rivers. There's 19 cops in the hall. 19 cops in the hall.
Everybody unmute yourselves and give it up for Joeski C.
Okay, Joeski.
This is
Thank you.
Amazing as always.
Fabulous,
One more for
Joeski.
us?
As always.
this is when we were younger, a song like that would be on the radio. But the fact that kids don't hear that and that's gone, they don't even know what's missing. Imagine, where's the Dylan of the 90s? Where's the Dylan of 2000? Where's the Joan Baez of today? Where all the every generation should have produced more, but they started making art from the top down. That's why the poets are so important.
Yeah, it's a sad thing.
Is there time for
Yeah,
another?
thank you, Jane.
Yeah.
That should be on the radio. Should be on every town and that cares like that. It's part of the dialogue.
I'm sorry, say that again, Joeski?
Can I go ahead and play another one? Is there time?
Oh yes, please do.
Thank you.
I just wanted to give that piece proper recognition. Go ahead.
Ain't no holy book can justify hatred from the sky. Hatred flies on kites, still you wonder why. Ain't no holy book can justify, can confiscate all this real estate, ends up in such hate. Ain't no holy book can justify hatred from the sky. No holy book can justify ending all these lives. No holy book can justify dropping all these bombs on the children, on the children. Where we raised our children, where they raised our homes, where there's no water to cry, you just can't justify. Ain't no holy book can justify hatred from the sky, leaders telling lies, hatred rides on kites, hatred rides on planes, dropping bombs we signed, dropping bombs we signed. Ain't no holy book can justify hatred from the sky. No holy book can justify ending all these lives. No holy book can justify dropping all these bombs on civilians, on the children.
Everybody, please unmute yourselves and show Joeski C love. Give it up.
Thanks for
That
the
was so
encore.
immersive,
Thank you, Joeski.
so
You know,
beautiful,
you
so
really,
Thank
moving,
you,
your entire,
Joeski.
your
so
entire
true.
I
Profound.
Thank you
love
so much.
your ability to make like the hard and sad sounds beautiful from your voice and from your guitar. And I feel more messages should be sent that way. And to bounce off what was said earlier about how there's like, you know, there's not like a Dylan or Joan Baez in this generation. I second that. Like there should be more of your, I guess you could say your folk singers, your modern folk singers really just bringing the truth out. And I'm fortunate, and I hope you feel all the same way, that you're fortunate to have this platform here to be able to share that. With that said, thank you, Joeski, and thank you all the artists out there for keeping this thing going.
You know, when I was on the radio, even the students that had radio shows, because they grew up and they're in their 20s and teens, right? You know, freshmen, sophomores, and stuff like that on the radio, they know their generation. So when they say, I'm free, I could do my radio, they try to emulate radio, but there's nothing but commercial to copy. So they really don't know how to deep dive into this. Some of them do, some of them experiment, but about half of them are better just do like something kind of poppy or commercial, even though they're on free form radio. So it's not, you know, I'm reading this book about girl punk, and it's the same thing. It's like if a movement loses the young generation, it doesn't. It's hard. You have to have the young generation understand the work of the old one. But you know, controlling the mayor. This subject goes on forever. But yeah, keep making art.
Thank you for that input, and thank you, Joeski. Keeping this open minds, open mic going on here. On deck, we got Jeff Cottrill, but on coming up next, let me just open your mouth. Let me put that tab in there. Okay. Don't worry, it's gonna be an awesome trip because we are about to enter the Skiff verse. Paul Skiff, when you are ready, unmute yourselves and give it up.
de nosotros estes horas. De nosotros es el lugar. De nosotros en estos momentos la luz claro sobre la cara. De nosotros en estos momentos todos las vidas de gracia. Porque no vienes abajo en la calle y ves que cariñoso hicimos tú. Creation is my backup. I have no need. I shall not purchase. Creation gives me sleep within a green park. It leads me across hostile streets. It restores my spirit and opens me on the avenues of knowing for pleasure's sake. Though I commute beneath the shadow of the decrepit bridges of the death culture to the skyscrapers of oppressive backwardness, I laugh at your evil, for I am with creation. Its clarity and strength calm me. It prepares me to flourish in the presence of my mockers and enemies. It touches light to my face. My mouth is a love gush total, and mercy and protection shall follow me all the days of my life, where I will clothe myself with the embrace of creation forever, and mercy and protection shall follow me all the days of my life.
Everybody unmute yourselves and give it up for the Paul Skiff.
Wow, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
More.
Or yeah, encore.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the longest you've gone off English or whatever. Not. I'm not gonna. But that's the longest you've gone in another language before, and then was it a literal translation or was it two pieces? Did you translate your own work?
It's a one piece. It's meant to be a kind of invocation, disvocation kind of thing.
And was there any Latin in there? It sounded.
No, it was well, as I say, no realmente hablo español, yo hablo englano, cual tú sabes es un tipo de español para gringos. So it's a version of Spanish that my gringo
You're
mind
crazy, sir.
can
You're
process.
Definitely had that invocation vibe. I just was digging
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
And then the silence at the end was a huge, beautiful part too, because it really gave this digesting thing at the end. I loved it.
I just it's a 67-year-old, a pair of vocal cords that can't quite get as deep or as high as they used to, but I think it worked okay. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, no, the artwork you put into your vocal style is yours. Don't apologize for it. It'll be good when it's 90. Don't worry. Just don't die on me.
I'll just say this right now. I'm gonna say that Paul Skiff is gonna age like wine, very finely, and it's just ready for more of this poetry. It's gonna come out of that mind. Just imagine the wisdom, 90-year-old Paul Skiff spitting poetry at y'all. I'm not ready for that. I'm excited for that though. Anyway, that said, thank you, Paul Skiff, for doing your thing. Moving on with the open mic. On deck, we got Jane's spoken word, but stepping up to the plate now, please give it up for Jeff Cottrill. When you're ready, take it away.
All right, then. So first of all, there's been a lot of talk over the past year and a bit about artificial intelligence and how it's going to affect our creative endeavors. I thought I'd do a little experiment with AI. So this is called AI Poem. Hello, this is Real Poem by Real Poet. Here is metaphor for futility of life. Life is undercooked pie, devoured by crabs in heat, in purple Commodore 64 computer, divided by 43. Why is sky green? Because there is no bananas in portrait of my last duchess. My name is Ozymandias, hear me roar, and she is buying Stairway in Park with George. Summertime, and your mother is easy, and I guess that is why they call it Blue Velvet. Exit pursued by Bear Bodkin. Now, Real Poet tries to obtain Arts Council grant. Hello, this is conventional literary poet. Poet writes about nature and poet's pet cat and struggles of poet's immigrant family before poet was born, and wild caribou that is symbol for futility of life, and much alliteration and sound bonding. An error has occurred. To continue, press Enter to return to the stanza, or press Ctrl-Alt-Delete to restart the poem. If you do this, you will lose any unsaved imagery in all of the previous lines. Error, OE 016F, BFF 9B 3D4. Press any key to continue. 0% complete, 13% complete, 34% complete, 57% complete, 78% complete, 93% complete, 98% complete, 99% complete, 100% complete. Hello, this is Real Poet. Now, Real Poet tries to score high slam points. Hello, this is Slam Poet. Poet is very politically aware and cares deeply about relevant social issues and uses audience as personal group therapy and uses word awesome sauce for laugh and ends poem before 3-minute time limit. Real poem ends now. Signed, Real Poet. So that is the future of poetry, as done by machines. And if I have time for a second one, this one was published in last year's Brownstone Poets Anthology in Brooklyn, and it's called Synchronicity 3. It's kind of an homage to Synchronicity 2, the old Police song. So Synchronicity 3. In the news today, we learn which new superhero movie we must see, and why it's different from the other superhero movies, and how it fits in with the superhero movie universe, so we can imagine ourselves as superheroes. And also we learn how much money it made this week. Meanwhile, in Ukraine, a soldier blows up a bridge, and himself, to stop a column of Russian tanks from advancing. In the news today, we learn which famous people said something stupid, and why we must cast those stupid people out of society like lepers, and how we must erase their stupid names out of existence, so we can bask in the glow of our moral purity. And also we learn what words we can't say anymore this week. Meanwhile, in Iran, a woman dies of mysterious head injuries after her arrest for refusing to wear a hijab. In the news today, we learn which celebrities are fucking which other celebrities, and which other celebrities are fucking which other celebrities, and which celebrities stopped fucking which other celebrities, so they can fuck completely different other celebrities. And also we learn what dresses they're wearing this week. Meanwhile, all over the world, human intervention is sparking wildfires and pollution, but people still keep having babies. See, I did a callback to the Alberta wildfires. Clever. So that was called Synchronicity 3. And before I go, I will be featuring at Saturday Salon on June the 1st, hosted by Dane Intz, and with a couple of other features and an open mic. I'll put the info about that in the chat. Thank you. That's me.
Everybody unmute yourselves and give it up for Jeff
I love your
Cottrill.
work, man.
Yeah, Jeff.
I love your work. That was good.
Wonderful, Jeff. Thank you.
You know?
Yeah, the computer should be flattered by your imitation of it. It was more real than the computer.
I did that. I did that at an open mic here in Toronto, and somebody complained. Somebody was offended by it, and I thought, was it a computer? Was it an actual robot that was offended? Because it's one of the tamest satires I've ever written.
There's good news, but I can't remember where I read it because I think there's another platform opening up where you submit stuff, and one of the rules is that you have to acknowledge whether or not it's computer generated, or you can't upload it. If it is, you could upload a computer, but you have to say this was partially made by AI. And I thought that was a step in the, at least a tiny baby step, and maybe I don't know what direction, but it was not a fallback.
I'll identify with your experience, Jeff, because I've been told to stop in the middle of my poem before and get out. So, it does happen when you encounter those delicate sensibilities in the audience.
Yeah, I've had that happen too.
I just want to chime in real quick and say that AI poem got me a little giddy for a number of reasons. I wrote a poem about like AI in general, like just social commentary about it, like a couple months ago. So it's like to see and hear someone else's perspective on AI, but also like target it in like the realm of the slam community, like how like slam works. I thought that was cleverly implemented. And with that said, thank you for that.
Yes.
One more time, give it up for Jeff. Proceeding now with the open mic. On deck, we got Jeff Taylor, but stepping up to the plate now. Please give it up for Jane's spoken word. When you're ready, unmute.
Yo, everybody. I wasn't going to do this piece, but the conversation that Jeff brought up about folk music and what we used to hear made me want to do this piece. So it's called Winter has come to America. I turned on, tuned in, and dropped out in the 60s. You can call me a freak, but don't you call me a hippie. I spent the summer of love getting stoned and dropping acid. I protested a war that lasted and lasted. Released from the confines of society, sisters and brothers stood in solidarity for equality and dignity. Because you know we know. We demanded an end to war. Hell no, we won't go. We demanded civil rights and equal opportunity. We marched for all of humanity. The music of my time spoke truth to power. Grooving and sly, the family took us higher. RESPECT demanded misery, the queen of soul, while Eve of destruction sang dark truths untold. And while Dylan warned we're just a pawn in their game, by any means necessary, Malcolm X proclaimed. I'm black and I'm proud, testified James Brown as Jimmy lamented. Why'd you burn your brother's house down? And as Marvin sang, mercy me, when will it end? John Lennon pleaded, give peace a chance. And float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, rhyme the greatest of all time, my hero, Muhammad Ali. We were a social movement, youth on the rise, in a war for equality and respect for all lives. The women's movement defined our objectives. Feminist ideologies demanded equality of sexes. The Latino movement of United Farm Workers Unions improved farmers' pay and working conditions. The Chicano movement organized students. Education, not eradication, brought basic school improvements. The Black Arts movement used art as a weapon. The Black Power movement championed pride and freedom. Angela Davis, Eartha Catwoman Kit, Nichelle Uhura Nichols, Tommy Smith, John Carlos, Nina Simone, and still, idiocracy reigns. If you are other in America, do you do time every day? If you are other in America, is it a squeeze play? Living your life on an everyday beat, always on guard, avoiding white heat. Winter has come to America. We have been trumped. Whitey is blindly stumbling through life, feasting on fox, feeding his white. He's scared. Scared you'll take his guns, his God, his whiteness. So he hides his fright in distorted righteousness. Marching with tikis is a frightening aberration. Rivers of blood stain our dawn with damnation. What happens to one happens to us all. Like dominoes, we all will fall. Silence is death.
Everybody, please give it up for James.
Thank you for not being silent. For finishing the poem that way.
Wow, that was my era. Yeah, growing up. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
What
Thank
a
you.
generational piece.
So glad you were here.
Yes, thank you for being
Thank you,
here. Really,
Jane.
really grateful you're here, Jane.
Thank you for having me. It's the first time
Thanks, Jane.
that I've heard a lot of these poets tonight, so it's been really nice. I'm really enjoying it. Thank you for having me, guys.
Oh, welcome,
Thank you.
welcome.
Welcome.
Come on back.
1, 3, welcome home. 1, 2, 3, welcome home.
Part of the fam.
Welcome. Come back.
Please don't be a stranger. Welcome all. Welcome all. Come as you are, please.
Jane is amazing producer too. She does a lot of work. She works with musicians. She tours. She promotes. She's really important person. She's
Yeah,
really
just
been.
definitely check out
Put
Word
any and
Jam.
all
Word
links
Jamming, one of the
you
best.
can on the group chat, and we will gladly indulge and support
Part
you.
of the artist episode was amazing too, Jane. Thank you so much for doing that.
Oh
And
my God, I gotta
Jane
check
is
that
a
out.
pioneer. Jane is a pioneer of this,
Yeah.
really.
Yes.
Well, I'm having a great time. I'm enjoying the poets. I'm working on Albie and I, because the bass just doesn't carry well over Zoom. You know, I've heard a lot of the other instruments and they carry well, but the bass just doesn't cut it on these. So what Albie and I are going to do is we're going to do a word jam that is going to be videos that him and I produce, and the poetry and the improvised bass with him and I. And in between videos, we're just going to talk about how we did it. Anybody's got any questions, and just talk about, you know, stuff that Albie and I have been doing actually forever. We put music videos and poetry up on the internet before YouTube. So yeah, we've been doing it for a while.
And that matters. That matters. That education and to see the technology changes makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Because it brings you into the wisdom category where you saw the change. You experienced the transition from having a voice to having it be drowned out by commercial bullshit and power and money and the old control the narrative bullshit, even in the arts. I got a line in my book: the machine of art making did not own and breed them.
Mm-hmm.
Word. Thank you, Jane.
I had to do some homework, definitely.
Can't wait till we cross paths someday.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Peace, y'all.
Thank you, Jane, for stopping by and presenting and sharing. Moving on with the open mic on deck, we got LaMar Mitchell, but stepping up to the plate now, yeah, we got Jeff Taylor. When you can, unmute and share your love. Take it away.
Thanks, Dre. Somebody earlier mentioned I was the anniversary of the Uvalde shooting, so I've got a poem here that shooting inspired a lot of poets to write poems, and then there was an anthology, American Graveyard, put out by Red or Green Books. You know, this one of my poems was in that anthology, so I'll read that poem to you. This is called Family Politics. When my dad tells me my uncle is skipping the family reunion so he can travel to a Trump rally in Pennsylvania, I think about my mom uploading official records into an internet database to prove we descended from John Adams, and it feels like we've been avoiding our family obligations. Not like we should have gone to more summer barbecues, but like we left work unfinished somewhere along the line. Now that our courts give more protection to praying on field after high school football games than they give to choice in women's health decisions, and Congress cares more about getting likes from QAnon conspiracy theorists than they care about protecting school children from mass shooters, the significance of July 4th coming and going while we watch the January 6th hearings pulls through my intestines like I'm crammed shoulder to shoulder in the back of a Ford Escape with John Adams and every other man I've been related to on a road trip to nowhere, poorly attempting to hold in a fart laced with the odor of personal responsibility. I'm reminded of when Trump told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by, and the role the choices my ancestors made played in getting us here in the first place. Then I try to picture what it would be like to live in a world where doves and wolves bathe each other in truth. When my wife ran for city council, the question she was asked most was, who's going to watch the kids?
I love Jeff. He's amazing. I love your work, man. You're the man.
Thanks, CC.
Everybody unmute yourselves and give it up for Jeff Taylor.
Yeah.
That was powerful, man.
Thank you, Jeff.
Not Jeff.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Woo! All right, Jeff.
I don't know if, for
I
how
think
many
I've
of
been
you
on
might
that
be in New
road
England.
trip before.
Yeah, a lot of us have been, Paul. If anybody's in the New England area in Massachusetts, I have an in-person open mic in Malden, Massachusetts, second and fourth Mondays. And it's called Controversy Open Mic. Check us out on Instagram. We go second and fourth Mondays. We're recording in the public access TV studio. So then the open mic gets broadcast out into Comcast and Verizon cable. Love to have you come down if you're near Massachusetts.
I went up
check us out.
I went up for a graduation, but it was the third Friday. I stayed till Monday with friends and stuff because of car problem, but I had to get back on Monday, but it was the wrong Monday. I looked it up. It was weird. I was like,
we
oh,
got a
man,
special
maybe
on June 3rd.
It's 3 hours from where I am.
Yeah, it's long for you.
Yeah, I mean, if you
good
got
feature we have coming up.
I could work if I want you to come down to the Beat Poetry thing. I think you belong there. It's a 3-day thing, and I'm not sure how they put people up, but they do from around the world. You'd love it there. Jane too. Jane, you should bring Ari.
I was in their anthology. I was going to try to make it to the
Yeah,
last one,
you're
but
not
then I
that
had to
far.
work.
It's 3 hours away from where you are, less than that. Yeah, you could stay there. They have a building next door where they put people up that come from around the world. I'm not sure how they do it.
Oh,
You
that's
should
cool.
Get in touch with Debbie.
Yeah,
And
I'll reach out to
Jane
Deb.
and Ari, you'd be good there too.
Sweet, yeah. Yeah, and
It's a
then
weekend.
Controversy Open Mic on June 10th, we have Jeremiah Walton as our feature. So he's an awesome poet, been touring around for a while. So come and check him out. You have
I
a
mean,
chance. June 10th.
Debbie does a virtual version, but so you can go from around the world. But Jane and Ari, you'd be good there if you can make it. And just call Debbie Tucson Kilday and figure out the logistics and see if it lines up with you. Figure out how the whole stay there thing works out.
Yeah, I'll try that. Thanks.
I would love that.
This is why we got this community here to love, share, and to connect. One more time, give it up for Jeff Taylor. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm so happy Baba's here. Thank you.
On deck, we got Baba. But stepping up to the plate now, we got LaMar Mitchell. When you're ready, please unmute. Share your love to the world.
Here we go. Here we go. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Hold on one second. This is called Don't Stop the Bleeding. You will know me by the trail of cotton candy caramelized by the oxygen in the atmosphere. Follow the fructose drips to an extraterrestrial koala bear sticking chocolate bars in his bandolier. In autumn falls like droid metal with the paroxysmic eruption. Symbols clash when the monkey shines and marries mistress in dungeons. Lusting for the toothbrush MacGyver gadget that triggered World War III. So the televangelists self-immolate as a cloud of fireballs speak in Japanese. Like Shoshana's all-out Nazi murder fest, burgers fresh off the bigot leg. Airing out the zombie munchathon, church pews inflate with the gas of the living dead. Winnipeg, Winnebago, Cynic's halo with the Paleolithic TV antenna catching vibes. I demagnetized from the cool crowd because they started packing knives. Last of lives snuffed by the Alpenhorn, farting across 7 continents. Death by black noise to rack mad cans is the only constant attracted to the hieroglyphs. Potty pissed, now your wallet rocks golden showers instead of bad motherfucker. Jules got the suitcase open, blinding these ice age MCs past the space shuttle buttered. Tinfoil Kangos, so my pop and lock is in step with the Sasquatch intent. On the planet called Hoth, but it's just Oakland and drag doodled by a Basquiat insect. Incestuous pharaohs lay eggs under the Christmas tree. That's called sinning. Caught red-handed by the head shrinker sprinkles. Rocket ships are now fishing. Lisping up a storm as the sibilants machine gun down another trench-coated dwarf. Beaver shot exposed. Mitch McConnell's peaches in a Depeche-moded twerk. Death quoted borscht and let the salamanders swim in the Campbell soup. Muckraking taking its toll on the devil's health, sweeping with the haplogroups. Tetris and Squid Game collaborate, running mid-range Master Ace, Crouching Tiger, Bitten Dragon. Pimp Slang masturbates, arousing spiders, Hitlergasm. Winter Tangent howls with the mighty wind after Fat Boy scarfed up the beans. Narc on your dreams, Cocaine Cowboy. Too many white lines sparked by the fiends. It's dark when I'm king, so the Umbra knowingly daps my Numenon. Cross my heart and hope to scratch the lunatic calm with a serial killing supermom. Buddha bong full of kush like a first cataract battlefield in Ethiopia. Now we got computers. Black geniuses zoom in on the guap with the Nokia. Pubic foliage tickles the nostril, the hay fever dreamer and Elvis heat. Sneeze the Eros hormones to pollinate the hellish streets with a steel helmet breach. Shellfish queef as my velvet teeth come down hard on crab shells. Break arthropod egos while the sinkhole gathers the elves with a gat cell. Blackmail the messenger and sabotage the cooking wok. Now a glass noodle represents all the hardcore hip-hop that Brooklyn copped. The looking ox, stink-eyed the cyclops, now they're mating, oh my God. Now I soak my logs in goat's milk. Need huge sign to sleep hands to hold my applause. Thank you.
Hey everybody, unmute yourselves and show some love for LaMar Mitchell. Yeah.
Yeah, LaMar.
LaMar.
Thank you.
Fire.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Appreciate the love.
Yeah, all right.
Appreciate it.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's how to see inside what's really going on is with this culture, LaMar.
Precisely.
Just double checking a couple things. One more time, give it up for LaMar Mitchell.
Woohoo!
All right, LaMar. Woo!
All
Yeah,
right.
that was really good.
It's great to see you here again.
Please
Thank you.
come
Thank
back
you all.
for more. Thank you for what you do. With that said, we're going to continue on with this open mic because we still got quite a plethora of talents to go through. On deck, we got Marieta Maglas, but stepping up to the plate now. Oh, I'm excited for this one here. Please unmute yourself. Show some love for Baba. Take it away. Unmute yourself. Do your thing.
You got me now?
Yeah. Right.
Loud and clear.
So, this is Memorial Day weekend, you know. So I'm going to do this piece. I'm a Vietnam vet, and I just this goes out to my peeps, the Alpha Company, 1st and 8th Infantry, 4th Infantry Brigade. So here we go. I forgot I got two pieces too. After my year-long backpacking trip through sunny Southeast Asia, walking on concrete seemed really strange. Trying to sleep in a bed was weird too. Seemed like it was too soft. It was still hot in Virginia in September, so at least I wasn't shocked by the weather. But buses backfiring had me wanting to duck for cover. Labor Day fireworks didn't help much either. I wasn't working yet, so with time on my hands, wooded parks were quite comforting. My boys had supplied me with a steady diet of revolutionary literature, and the camaraderie of brothers in Nam had me thinking a revolution was about to jump off. After all, the last poets and Black Panthers were all in the news. J. Edgar Hoover had declared them dangerous. Red, black, and green buttons and necklaces with black fists were popular too. I came back mad as hell with an itchy trigger finger, ready for the shit to jump off. Cambodian red and tabs of good acid comforted me, but otherwise didn't help the problem either. Nobody told me I was suffering from PTSD. There was no debriefing. Had me thinking there was some real black unity back in the world. My marriage was going to shit. My lawyer had me thinking everyone was an agent. After attending a Panther rally, I learned the feds were questioning my friends. The idiots paid me a visit, asked my opinion on revolution, like I'd really tell them. I told them all black people should move back to Africa. Having survived Pleiku in the Tet Offensive, I set out to make up for all the nookie I had missed. Good poontang is life affirming, and I needed to check daily to see if I was still alive. Trust was a bit hard to come by, so I set out to find people of like minds. Most of the homies were strung out partying. Skag was taking over the neighborhood. Even the offspring of the black bourgeoisie nodded. The talent in 10th mainlined. Not liking needles, I dodged the doogie bullet. Everyone else was strung out on Jesus. I was searching for Ogun, but this was the late 60s in the Black Belt South and he was hiding out not to be found. I thought about checking out the NOI, but I was too cool for that. I rocked bell-bottom hip huggers and a big afro. Bow ties and bean pies just didn't satisfy my sense of style. Packed up my VW Bug, snuck off to Newark in the middle of the night, looking for the revolution. Yeah. So that's point. Didn't come on the Mayflower, came on a good ship, Jesus. I'm a star Matilda, Harriet Marie, chain bound and shackled, glory to me in the castle, copper and Manila, cotton and tobacco. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. Sing my blues, just sing my blues. Stopped on Evo Landing, try to walk on water. I'm a runaway, I'm a renegade, I'm a son of a just daughter. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. Sing my blues, sing my blues. Still Mark Beasley and Charleston, and the other Maroons, Nat Turner and John Brown, Harry Tubman, Freedom Bound. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. Just sing my blues. Just sing my blues. Work from sun up to sundown. Black baby sold by the pound. Ancestors buried in hallowed ground. You ain't paid your dues. Whole world seemed like a big plantation. I'm just trying to give my reparations. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. To sing my blues, to sing my blues. Yeah.
Everybody unmute yourselves and give it up for Baba. That was amazing.
All right.
Yeah, Baba.
Awesome.
So
If you weren't grooving at any point in time during that performance, I don't know, check yourselves. The word crafting, to be able to relay that hurt into such artistry, and it's the way you're able to incorporate different forms of relaying that through spoken word, through blues. Oh, that was awesome.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
your
of
Thank you
ability to
for
history,
just
that.
pull this stuff off on the
information.
fly is just like miraculous, and it really instills a lot of confidence in me to pull, try and do that kind of improvisation. That's something that's a natural, ability. You can take courses and workshops, but you're never going to get your hands on your inspiration like you do.
To bare your vulnerable soul, to know your history, at the same time, tell the truth, and there's so many gifts coming together, It's just I could feel it. I found these 3 notes on the thing, and it's like it's just that's where it was. It's very inspiring, and you're right. It's incredibly encouraging. It inspires us to do more of what you have worked through. So.
More time, give it up for Baba. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Woo.
Keeping this open mic rolling. On deck, we got Principe, but stepping up to the plate now, please give it up for Marieta Maglas. When you're ready, please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hello.
My first poem. Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
You're coming out just fine, yeah?
My first poem is entitled An Oxymoron Poem. It is published in Alchemia Poetical Journal. We've been in the burning frost of the highest peak to unlock the open secrets and to leave the sweet sorrow. In my upward fall, I told the pure evilness, I want nothing more and never again. I hung the word in that eloquent quietness. I hung the quietness in the air. I found its own sense
and the opposite. The word and the kindness were like the home and the star. In that spiritual freezer burning, I found the insomniac dreams of my destiny and the walking dreams of my twisted fate. You made them become numb feelings and vice versa, much more than a lyric song becomes a music sound to be a lyric song again. In that magic realism, my silent scream was moved into its echo to become deafening silence forever. Fairly obvious, the down-climbing evilness echoed, I want nothing more and never again. Nothing more and never again. And my second poem is entitled The Rainbow Woman. It is an ekphrastic poem and analysis of the artwork entitled Femme au béret rouge orange, belonging to the Cubist painter Pablo Picasso. It is published in Letterpie. The blue woman, alive, knows the meaning of things and the hue of his visions. Thinks to survive, absently slipping her sight at the edge of the reality. Ruins, cracked mountains, and rolling rocky rails. When the divine penetrates her within. Her womb grows to hide a new symphony of feelings she tries to face with death and sin. Bluish face for a falling tear that becomes a magnifying glass, ear to hear the rhythm of the seconds as they pass. Orange, red beret to pulse, in the hard violet air. Winds whispering old songs in her summery green hair. This woman is questioning herself. If love can disfigure, can play havoc with, can vitiate, or can torpedo her essence. She learned not to trust, but to think and to keep it for herself. Because she knows that in the missing light, the words can become silvery dust for a fight, while shooting and jeering. On her lips, the silence waits to explode, has a flamed red shine. There is nothing to destroy. It is only a tomography of the spirit, her innocent jealousy and passion. Thank you very much.
Everybody, please unmute yourselves and give it up for Marieta. Thank you.
Thank you, Marieta.
Beautiful work.
Thank you very much.
That was gorgeous.
Was this your first time on Open Minds?
Yes.
With that said, on 3, everybody unmute yourselves and say welcome home to Marieta. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome.
Welcome,
Marieta.
Please come back.
Welcome, Marieta.
Big
Come
love.
back.
Let it in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love, love, love. Let it in.
You're incredible.
Please come back. Please keep coming with your work. We're all bricks a part
Glad
of
to know
this.
that you like it.
I'm sorry,
Thank
what was
you
that?
very much. Glad to know that you like it.
Well, thank you for showing up and finding us. All right, keeping going here. On deck, we got Elemental. but stepping up to the plate now, please give it up for Principe. Yeah, unmute yourself.
I'll be sharing two poems. The first poem is called Growing Pains. My growing pains are like glimmers of truth, just revealing who I am. At first sight, my heart said, damn, I never planned to make those mistakes. If I learned one thing, I learned about life. I learned about life is a lesson. Now I hope my reflection gain traction. The swish sound in my growing pains will spread to spaces I've never been. I won't die, eternally living and giving life to others. Let my lesson be a North Star to a better you. And this one is called Birthday Cards. Birthday cards never tell the totality of your feelings toward anyone. It's a snapshot of the love you feel, always mending with words, kiss smacking, hearts to see smiles on faces that swell like earth in the great flood. Maybe ask something special with the pen penning, grateful gratitudes for their existence. These words hold weight and heat of sultry Texas summers. Words and birthday cards leave you warm. And the last one is called Rebirth. Spring blooming, so don't bide inside. Come watch these cranberry red, sun-smacked, purple rain drips, flowers blossom. With its peaceful, pious provider, kissing it from its sun-stained vantage point. Come watch flapping wings stroll and stride. The tide and the ocean reside as you place your feet on the soft gold crest before the ocean. The universe tears up every so often. The door of the spring have opened. Thank you.
Thank you, Principe. Everybody, unmute yourselves and show some love for Principe. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Principe.
Principe.
Thank you.
Yes.
You know,
Principe.
Principe, a lot of people are always thanking you for your courage and every time you read and every time you show up and all your work and they're watching you evolve. I'm going to ask you never to get tired of that because it's a good thing to always be one tiny baby step forward above your last piece. And the fact that you don't use a technology, I get a huge kick out of your reading from a book. Nobody does that anymore. That means you're not even using spell checker, which makes you twice as wise as most people like me. So thank you. I really appreciate your work. And never get tired of people saying that you grow every time. Never get tired of that.
And I feel like it's something that every artist should aspire to do. Don't settle. Keep growing. Because every day is an opportunity to learn something. And if you're not learning something every day, then that may be a day wasted. With that said, I second what CC said there about your growth, and I've been in the community for like almost a year now, and it's been a pleasure watching you grow both as a speaker and as an artist. So please keep up your work. And with that said, if you have any links, share them on the meeting chat. One more time, show some love for Principe.
Woohoo.
All right. So there've been a couple of changes that I had to make here because there was some people leaving here. So we have an updated list I'm going to be posting on the chat momentarily.
Where's Elemental? I hope he didn't bounce.
Elemental did leave, unfortunately. So here we go. On deck, we have Debby Segal, but stepping up to the plate now, we have Frogg Corpse. When you're ready, please unmute yourself and do your thing.
All right. Which song would sound loudest through this impenetrable valley? A lone whisper lulled goodbye, with a fifer and drummers charging. The hour covered in snow, beyond the palisades they've rallied, under volley with their volts, moving in smoke field dodging cannons. Orderlies and majors roll, forming the flanking ranks, taking up arms on those who flee, while descending on the foray along the battlements. Sabers split the rudiments, dividing blue and gold. A bugle ends the conflict when blood makes the grasses grow. Would this valley be a ditch? Will this songbird muffle sigh, clenching guts with a lone slow bleed with the bodies that we've left behind? Memorial Day. To the dead ones, celebrated in medals and camouflage, battle fatigue and gun wound shots, homesickness with war packs and helmet damage. Through the wars they walked and miles unwalked. These explosive war-torn battle zones and countries they overthrow. The will, the law, the mind, the peace of what some sons and daughters may never know. This goes across the golden globe to those that are dead and who we've barely known. Do not halt your honor at the shores of our slaughter, for peace claims the heart's desire and the feet of those that march. Here to those that paid a price from the selfish and hungry from the higher life. Cheers to the warrior of the bottom dwellers who sanctioned the sovereignty and bombed out shelters from the cold, the rain, and the heat that swelters, to the skeletons with honors who lack the world's possessions, to those that serve their country and their friends, to the soldiers who won't see their final medal pinned, for those that fought until their last heartbeat. May they rest in peace in the eternal army. Thank you.
Wow. Everybody unmute yourself and give it up for Frogg Corpse.
Yeah, Frog. Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Frog.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Frog.
That was
Oh my lord, that's stunning, Frog.
Wow. For some reason, I just kind of trace back to my childhood. Like, I remember every last Friday before Memorial Day weekend, they would have like this ceremony in elementary school where we would like do sign language, like American Sign Language, to do a cover of a Bolton like sibling song of the veterans of the USA. But I wish that could be scrapped and in exchange that piece of work, because I feel like that does a much better service honoring the fallen, and I just feel that I don't know, there's something about that grip. At the same time, elementary school,
There's something about the macabre of it all in his work. Oh, there's an echo there. So anyway, maybe that's cool. No, there's something about the macabre of your work and that piece that deals with kind of death and justice at the same time. It's like giving voice to, I don't know what's happening here.
I think you unlocked the voice of God, CC. And I think
That's because you have two computers going, CC. You're in twice.
Oh.
So that was causing the feedback.
Go check the thing. You might be right. Yeah. Okay.
Oh. One more time. Give it up for Frogg Corpse.
Hell yeah, Frog.
Fuck yeah,
Every time you
Frogg
read, I wish there
Corpse.
was a rewind on this thing so I could hear it again.
Well, luckily, this is recorded right now, so once this is all said and done, this will be uploaded onto the Open Minds YouTube channel. So there's that. That's a lovely thing about these open mics. They're always going to be recorded, so stay tuned. All right. With that said, we're going to keep going on with this open mic. On deck, we got Theresa Gallion. But stepping up to the plate now, please give it up for Debby Segal. Yeah.
Thank you, Dre. Thank you, everyone. What a feature, CC. What a night. This just feels like an extraordinary, like historic evening. So I'm really nervous. And anyway, I'll read a couple poems. Speaking in a new way after Tango Eisenmartin. Casting spells, enchanting mantras, incantations, composing words on bus station glass. Maybe this line will stick. Poking, lines under skin, calling all blood, visualizing demons. Is it you or is it me? All you see is the bus, empty of angels and devils, engineering images of mortals, worrying about the sides, forgetting the top was falling on a day now known as Flat Earth Day. Jokes were cracked. You wouldn't understand. You had to be there. You had to bury the way to the front of the bus beneath a joke. Not another shot poured. Hit the floor. Sit up straight. Was it year of the rat in 2008? Second day of the work week. Cooking a nasty stew or a runaway funhouse mirror or a din in the ash can. Merchants burning down the malls. Teachers running down the halls. Spray painting artists tag the walls. Comrade, can I get a light off your smoke? Inside this chest is a heart-shaped sculpture, an anchored man crying, interpreting this face in this black mirror, scrying an amnesia that includes this house, forgetting shackles piercing this all-knowing third eye. Lines stuck under skin, images of mortal beings. I wasn't there, but I'm here now. Tell me about it. Maybe this line will stick. Comrade, can I get a light off your smoke? Thank you.
More.
Everybody unmute yourselves and give it up for Debby Segal. Yeah.
I do have more, so hold your applause. Hold your applause. I've got
Hold
two
your
more
applause.
really short ones. Let me do my last two since you said more.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
The means. Poets playing in the fading light, gliding across the abyss, glittering, shimmering, oscillating between glancing third eyes, flickering in scope to an emerging counterpoint, capturing gratuitous shots, doodling duplicity, never knowing, no one knows how it ends, no one. And this one more, Dance of the Poets, for the poets. Far away in time, true believers sparring with daydreamers. Mary is made in a garden, and spoken word artists spit new shit as page poets ply their shtick backstage, fingers snapping for exquisite verses by extinguished light of distinguished poets. Thank you.
Debbie's amazing. She's she's one of the strongest, real, genuine idea of a beat poet woman. And that's a genre that hard to fill. You really have it. But I could hear in your work that you're marrying like your influences from the open mic, from all the poets that you hear, and you're really, and you never stop growing, but sometimes you enter into this terrain where, and this is for everyone, sometimes you enter into this terrain where you're mixing your styles and your influences, and then out of it you just remain genuine, and then out of that comes your voice that you become, you know.
Thank
And
you,
I think,
Cece.
and last time I complimented to you, it didn't work out too well, but it was a compliment then and it's a compliment now.
It
So
was the
love you.
same poem, so you got to hear the one that we had talked about. So thank you always for all you
It's
say.
you really are one of the strongest beat women I know. And yet you bring in the other voices.
Everybody, thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Debbie, for
you.
that. Oh, go on.
You are
any more
so
feed-
brilliant, Debbie. Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much.
This
And your
really is
novella was
Thank you.
amazing, by the way.
Thank you, Doc. Didn't mean to talk over you as you're complimenting me. Ah,
I was just
how
saying that your
untactful.
novella is
Very
amazing.
beat, huh?
Everybody, one more time, show your love for Debby Segal for that. Thank you very much.
Woo! All right.
You know, it's more than just your beat. It's that you complement what that means and you bring it to its like refreshing contemporary level. It's not a compromise where you're marrying your becoming as a woman poet into a genre that is by sounding like them, but you're offering a new voice by growing it. The flower, the tree is you better it.
We love you, Debbie. Thank you.
And we love you indeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb.
With that said, we are going down to the final four. Oh, yeah. We got 4 more poets left on this incredible open mic. And with that said, thank you all for spending this chunk of your time with us here. This wouldn't have been possible without y'all. On deck, we got Dr. Faizan, but stepping up to the plate now, please give it up for Theresa Gallion. When you're ready, unmute and take it away.
Thank you. It's been a fine evening listening to the diversity of the poetry. Really enjoyed it. I'm going to read 2 pieces. Pablo Neruda is one of my favorite poets, and this one is Homage to Pablo Neruda. When I think of love poems, I think of the delicate balance of your words flowing through me. Between shadow and light, my soul plays with you on the page. Pablo, your lyrics dance around my bed to the tune of ecstasy. Flowers hide behind the trees to peek at your words. They feel the power of love's embrace close to the heart of each blossom. Red wine runs down your lips like the blood of first love. Tears swell in clusters as you and I unite as one, and morning light burns your chest. You call forth my imagination as I stare into January light crackling in the fireplace. A fresh season is brewing under the snow blanket outside. And I want to hibernate here with you, Pablo, until the spring daffodils toot their horns. In peace. And the second piece is called Falling into Grace. He locks his gaze on her naked lips, and her smile bursts into flames. The heat of the exposure burns down to her breast. Her legs freeze in place. She cannot detach from his gaze. The heart pumps purple violets. Rainbow colors dance on the ground. He speaks to her without words. Breathe in and accept binding grace. She complies and falls without fear into the arms of the beloved. Thank you.
Please unmute yourself and show some love for Theresa Gallion. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you.
That was
And
so
thanks for
soothing.
coming here again, Theresa. It's great to hear your work as always.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Please keep coming back for more. We want more. We'll never get tired of hearing your work. With that said, one more time, thank you, Theresa, for that.
You.
Going down, let's see here. I'm looking at my list. I'm looking at my audience here. Looks like we're missing one here. So now we're down to two. We're down to two poets. On deck, we got John Bruder, but stepping up to the plate now, please give it up for Dr. Faizan. Please unmute yourself. Take it away.
All right. Thanks so much, you guys. It's been a magical night. All right. So I got a couple of poems for you. Yeah. So this first one is just called "A Poem Without a Body." She wasn't herself. When she fell in love with him, she was manic and wrote him love letters to tattoo on her skin. She kept coming back with another story to tell, a story that couldn't wait for his patient fingers. He was baffled. He had no idea he was a writer at heart. At her request, he wrote in the tiniest of scribbles so there would always be room for more. He wrote a novel on her limbs, a book of poems across her chest, a haiku beneath each earlobe. When he got to her back, he stopped transcribing her words and started to write his own. He wasn't himself, he wrote. When he realized how much he would miss her skin, he was depressed. He wrote to her a story of forbidden songs and hummed underneath his breath. She whipped around, broke his needle, bled, and took his jawline into her trembling palm. She was no longer manic. He was no longer depressed. She could feel his every word, reading his story by touch alone, and she was horrified. She searched his dilated eyes. He tumbled into hers. He couldn't understand how afraid she had become, how alone. She couldn't fathom the joy, the longing. She asked him why he had to ruin her fantasy with his obvious lies. He, as always, remained mute. He pulled down the handkerchief that covered the bottom half of his face. She saw now that he had no mouth at all, just empty skin in place of lips she couldn't kiss. He continued to hum somehow. He hoped desperately that she would recognize the melody. She did. But she said she's sorry she doesn't know that song. She had to go. Blood trickled down her back. He wanted to tell her his story wasn't finished. Didn't she want to know how it ends? He put pressure on the wound with his handkerchief. His touch spoke volumes. She did want to know, but she couldn't answer him. She understood his song all too well. She hummed it all the way home. All she could tell him was that she would come back. She didn't. She wrote to him about a wound that became a mouth. His every word disappeared. So yeah, so that was that. And okay, and here's a more recent piece from April. Yeah, it's called "The Mask of You." Anywhere and anything is better than nothing and nowhere and no how and a soft beachside seashell cottage, whittling away my hermitude until my hair is longer than a river of dreams. I can't wait for the escape of all that you do. I can't abate the greatness of our solitude. My greatest gift to give is silence, so I offer in abundance the rapture of this quiet gospel, poured out the beak of a nightingale, inside whose belly I curl into every day of my sad life. When I'm without you, will you take me to the Catskills until we walk into the clouds that pass over the mountain tops in swaths of beautiful mystery and tendrils of the ghosts of the sky floating over every bare treetop, still searching for spring in the Ides of April, inside which my body whispers the echo of a soul skydiving into a tiny body that knows nothing but the bliss of darkness. Take me in again and make me small, for the amniotic odor of every dream I've ever conjured is bleeding into the air and making everyone concerned. Back in the hallways of hospitals where every word is soaked in morbidity and mortality, cloaking veils of life and longing and elephants unspoken in ever-shrinking rooms, housed in headaches like hot air balloons billowing in tempestuous currents that only ever shift and can't make up their whip-smart minds that lash with the leather snap of weaponized truth, tenderizing the flesh of everything we hope and dream of, sinking in and out of focus until the place we've fallen into is reality, stripped and bare and naked and unrecognizable in its stark coldness, washing over you like the void turned liquid and disintegrating every inch of you back into the nothingness within which you were spontaneously ill-conceived. And I would rather be the fevered dream of an angel or a jinn than real. And I can't wait for the escape of all that you do. I will create inside the emptiness you left behind in my soul. I shun all else, everything and everyone. Embrace the moon in place of sun. There is only one. You are a wish undone. I am no one. I become. I can't wait for the escape of all that you are.
Wow.
Everybody,
Yes.
unmute yourselves and show some love for Dr. Faizan. That was awesome.
Wow.
Thank
Damn,
you.
You are
Doc.
truly a word doctor.
Oh, I love that.
Very well said. A
It all
word
night long.
doctor indeed.
Yeah, so intense. So intense. You really embody the work too with your voice. That's the one thing about the spoken word. I always try to emphasize it, how physical it is, that you don't speak with just your lips and your tongue and your vocal cords, the word, it comes off your whole body, and then that metaphysical part of yourself too. And that was really supercharged in those pieces you read.
Absolutely.
I love how you delved into the metaphysical aspect of the performance there, Paul, because that was well articulated. There's something about parlaying that rawness, that authenticity with the material that you are, with the message that you're parlaying to the audience. It does add that extra layer to the piece. It just gives it an extra umph. And with that said, I second what Paul said. Thank you for putting that extra umph into your work there.
Yeah, one
But
thing
that's
about you, one other note about your voice is I sort of get, Frogg Corpse has this very distinctive use of the voice too, and one of the qualities of his voice is there's a kind of interiority of it, right? It's almost like this voice that's you hear in your own brain. I mean, you are, but it's almost like it's being spoken with inside you. And that's just an amazing effect to be able to create.
And like a lot of the artists here, there's this combination of vulnerability and artistry that comes together. And then there's your skill and your profession. So your insight, your foresight, and your self-reflection merge. And and there's like this mystery involved in receiving your work, because you're not, you're both being vulnerable and you're being reflective and you're being insightful, and they all come together. So I would keep, I'd keep on that path until, it's all about leaving a body of work. That's how I look at it personally.
I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Sure.
We appreciate you for stepping up to the plate and doing your thing. Before we go to our last poet, one more time, give Dr. Faizan a round of applause. Also,
Sorry, by the way, it's Dr. Faizan.
Faizan? Sorry.
Yeah.
Faizan.
It's all good.
Okay. I stand corrected. I'm going to remember this from now on, Dr. Okay. Before we close up,
Phase on, just like phaser on. Think of Star Trek.
that's a great way to think of it. Faizan. All right.
I love that.
There it is. All right. Thank you for that. GC, and thank you, Dr. Faizan.
Just don't set it to kill.
All right. Before we go to our last poet, I just wants to remind y'all that, again, events like tonight, like the Slam Jam, like Party Artists, these won't be possible without our community, without awesome artists like you. So we thank you. And with that said, if you enjoying what you're seeing here, please tip us, because every little bit goes a long way. With that said, we got Cash App and PayPal info plastered in the meeting chat, so you can get a load of that. And the next Open Minds community events will be tomorrow, the Slam Jam, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In this very Zoom room, we're going to have Billy Tuggle step up as special guest coach. That's a can't miss episode. So hope we'll see all y'all there tomorrow here in this chat room. And with that said, we got one more poet. Please give it up for John Bruder. Unmute and take it away.
Thank you, thank you. So I got 3 for you here. This one's called Forget Me Not. I suppose you could call it a bid for connection. I'm eyeing some time with the ties that bind. It's not like the knot couldn't fray as they tighten, an eternal lament that we ended up this way. Something new misconstrued, feeding doom where there should be another design. Take a ride that's unkind with a plan. We shouldn't have to decide. I'm sorry it came to this. I miss your touch and I miss your kiss. Fallen away from what once was bliss. I long to be strong and one more chance with this. So forget me not, because we can be more than we've been. We'll see if my voice holds out for the next 2. Pollen is not my friend. All right, this one's called Ruminations. The silence is deafening, deaf ears for the messaging. I'm not sure how to feel. It reveals I'm a specimen. A sample, a test case, a compilation of mistakes, of missteps to last breaths assuring me I'm a head case. Like privilege you've given, then taken away, enshrined and shackled by the games that we played. How long till you notice what has faded away? What could have been, should have been, what got in the way, the thing that stood as an obstacle, a monument to the pain, a salve of a balm for the wounds in your brain, or a trick of the mind to bring you solace again. You should know this the moment you entered my world, some things came into focus, others snapped out of the frame. But regardless of the outcome, my soul is tattooed with your name. And then this one's called Portal to the Past. Pieces of puzzles scattered all over the floor. Childhood memories painting pictures of more. A funny thing happens when the years have been kind. You make peace with an enemy, giving sight to the blind. I can hear the laughter, but I know what it disguises. I can see the smiles, but I know what real life is. There's a token carried in your pocket, a totem you built in your mind, scrawled with the etchings from a wounded prophet who profits from the days of old. To see you, to see through, to be what consumes you. We can hold back from the true path like a nomad nursing an ice pack. The stained glass can be a way back like puzzle pieces that reflect the defects in designs on the floor. And I believe that's all I got for you. Thanks, everybody.
Everybody unmute yourselves and give it up for John. Yeah.
Beautiful,
All right,
John. It's
John.
heartbreaking.
John, are you
Quick
new? Are you
question,
new here?
John. Is this your first time on Open Minds?
It is. Jeff and
All right.
Jeff and I have
Well-
actually known each other for a very long time, and he hit me up with some short notice as I was putting my kids to bed, and I grabbed the notebook and just read what was on the first filled out pages.
Yeah, John is like one of the most beautiful people you could ever meet in your life.
Thank you, sir.
I've known John since I was a teenager, and he's always he's always been the most like generous, giving person that you could ever possibly meet. He's like one of the best friends to have. So I'm glad to be able to introduce him here to Open Minds.
Oh, this is
Have him
awesome.
read the poem.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff, for
Everybody
bringing him.
unmute
And
yourselves on
yeah,
three.
let's
Welcome home. 1, 2, 3.
welcome
Welcome home.
home. Welcome
Thank
to
you,
Open
everybody.
Minds.
Yeah, welcome home.
Don't
And
be a
let me
stranger.
guess.
Please come back for more. We want
And let
more.
me guess, you play the
This
guitar.
is really like home to me. John, I've known since I was a teenager. I've known CC Arshagra for over 20 years. So there's a lot of years of knowing people here in this room for me. So that's great.
Jeff used to be my landlord.
Wow.
I think we both had more hair back then, but
I just want to say something real quick. Thank you, CC, for doing this amazing feature. Dre, thanks for stepping up and hosting tonight. Hopefully by next Friday, I'll be feeling better and the show will go on as always. But it's been such an amazing show tonight. I missed a bit of it because, I haven't been feeling too well, but I'm definitely going to be watching the replay because y'all just crushed this tonight, man. What an amazing night. And thank you guys for being here so much. I love
And
you.
I'm so honored by all your love. And whenever any of us get sick, I think it's because the body's trying to tell us something. So just let your body do the healing. You're not sick. You're just listening to the body say, hey, shut it down. I got some work to do. So listen to it. Drink your fluids and you're good. Get your sleep.
Exactly.
I just want to say, hey, Dre, you're a really good host. You're just like tactful and great moderator, great facilitating going on. I just thought I would give you some positive accolades in addition to your poetry and your crab rangoon cravings that you give me on a weekly or bi-weekly or daily basis. Like you're just a great host.
I don't know about his hosting, but that third eye is no, you're awesome. You're awesome. But the third eye, man, I'm loving it. I've never seen that before.
Yeah,
the things you can find online.
man.
Like this is not my first rodeo when it comes to hosting. I used to host open mics in person at UNH Manchester back like 10 years ago. Jeez, it's already been 10 years ago.
That's
but
not
yeah.
possible. You're like 12. But anyway, no.
I know I'm such a baby. I'm a 33-year-old baby. I don't know. But yeah, when it comes to hosting, it doesn't faze me. This ain't nothing to me. So I'm just glad to have this community, this opportunity to share my night with y'all, and thank you for coming and spending your time, your art, your love with us all, and please follow us on Instagram, on YouTube, because this episode's gonna be online for your viewing purposes. So with that said, until next time, thank you and have an
Thank
awesome
you.
week. Be
Thank
safe.
you for having me.
And thank you, Catalyst. You're doing all your work and the amazing flyer. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
good
treasure
night,
it.
y'all. We love you.